Welcome into the Michigan Football Report. Guys, we are probably just over 1 hour away from Michigan being ranked number one in the college football playoff top 25 headed into the CFP. It'll be the first time Michigan's been ranked number one since about 4 days after the Rose Bowl following the 1997 season. So January 1998, January 3rd, January 4th, etc. That's how long it's been for this program. Washington beats Oregon on Friday. Georgia goes down to Alabama yesterday. Texas gets the win, a pretty dominant win over Oklahoma State. Florida State squeaks by, what was that one, Jack? A 10-point game, I think it was. Florida State last night. But with their third-string quarterback, a true freshman quarterback. So this is probably going back to the first year of the CFP, 2014, when Ohio State went from 5 up to 4, maybe it was 6 up to 4, jumped over Baylor and TCU to get in that first CFP, along with Alabama, Florida State, and Oregon. This is the one that has the most, intrigue, that you've got legitimately 5 teams that should, could, and probably in most years would get in the CFP top 25. So we will get this bad boy rolling. We've got an hour until the rankings come out, but let's keep things talking on Michigan football, going back to back to back. It's like that Drake song, Jack. We're going back to back to back. We're going back to back to back. We got kind of a new song there. But, Jack, did you know that Michigan is the first team in the history of either the Big Ten or the SEC? And this is no joke. First team in the history of the Big Ten or the SEC or the Pac-12 by that hand, but they're kind of a disbanded conference, played their last game on Friday, ever in the history of college football to go back-to-back 13-0 starts to start 2 straight seasons. It only really happened twice in modern history. Florida State 2013 and 14, Clemson 2018 and 2019. So if you're loving this 13-0 start for Michigan, Big Ten champions, give me some 13s in the comments. I see you, the Los Angeles, with a $5 super chat. Give me some 13s in the comments. We will get to the Los Angeles super chat. I'll shout out the first 4 or 5 13s that we see. Who's saying please stop that, Yoder? Who's saying that? I don't even know who said. XCJBMGX saying please stop that, Yoder. What are we stopping, Bosa? Is that what you're asking? I'm doing more Bosas. We got some 13s flowing in. I'll give some shout outs on those, and we'll get to that super chat. Bill Graves, my man with a 13. Mark Eastman, Ken Kenyon, Becky and Chad 13-0. David Hudson, Joseph O'Connor, Devin Swilly, and then just a guy named C. Just his name is C there in the chat. Chinhawk with a 13. Iceman Comp, my man, back in the building. Steve Richard, right? We haven't figured out his name. We just call him Steve, right? Richard, I can't remember. I always mess me up. Scott Forbes, Lee on the Turf, Anthony Spiat, Cortez, Fred, Bob, giving me a 13. Let's get to the super chat from the Los Angeles. And how can they leave Florida State out undefeated and won their championship? I don't care if they lost the quarterback. They still earn their way. Go Blue. Look, I certainly think it would be easier for Michigan to get in the CFP if they had to play number 4 ranked Florida State. Jack, though, thinks that Florida State, if they're going to be in, they pop up to number 3. Jack, I don't know if you want to give that thought here.
Well, here's my thought on Florida State. Now, we didn't watch that game last night really at all because we were focused on the Michigan game, but just watching the play-by-play, that was miserable football to watch. Mm-hmm. And I was listening last night to a Kurt Herbstreit interview that he did, and basically what he said was, and he's literally on screen right now, and he talked about his top 4, Florida State not being in his top 4. You're looking at the 4 best teams in college football. That's what the committee's trying to do. It's not, the 3 undefeated teams, all the undefeated teams. If that were the case,
that's kind of how they've always done it, though.
That's how they've always done it, but have they ever had a chaos scenario like this?
There's never been a team ranked number 1 going into the college football playoff final weekend, or into the championship weekend. Never been a team ranked number 1 that didn't make it. Never been a team outside the top 6 that did make it, okay? There has never been an undefeated conference champion that didn't make it, Power 5, and there has never been an SEC champion that didn't make it. So if Florida State gets left out, Georgia gets left out, Alabama gets in, Texas get in this scenario, they will basically go against 9 years of precedent. They'll go all the 4 things that have always been locked. If you're undefeated in the Power 5, if you win the SEC, yes or no, etc., if you're number 1, if you're outside the top 6, 3 of the 4 of those are going to go away, right? They're going to have to break precedent.
Yeah, and I mean, look, again, it's just they're going to break precedent. This is kind of an unprecedented year just in terms of scenarios and what we're talking about. Usually it's pretty cut and dry who's going to be in the playoff by the end of the year. But Florida State just does not look good.
Yeah.
Like they don't look good. So
that's what happens.
like 4 best teams. That's my whole thing. 4 best teams. Florida State without their quarterback is not one of the 4 best teams. That's just my thought.
But Jack, you're preaching to the Michigan fan base. They went Florida State again, and I went Florida State again for this one reason. Look, why would you? It's like 2 years ago when it was, okay, Michigan plays Georgia, who lost in the SEC title game in a 2-3, and then Alabama is number 1. They play Cincinnati. You know, if you're Michigan, to win the national championship, you've got to beat Ohio State number 2, Iowa, and then Georgia and Alabama. So 3 out of 4 games got to beat a top 2 opponent. That's really tough to do. So I would rather probably have Florida State and hoping that Michigan gets it, because Alabama is just Alabama at the end of the day.
Well, absolutely. I mean, look, my ideal scenario, and Michigan fans, please forgive me, my ideal scenario is Florida State's in. They're the 3 seed because they're undefeated. That would at least be my thinking if the committee keeps them in. Michigan gets snubbed to 2 and Washington goes 1. You have Michigan, Florida State in the Rose Bowl.
Well, no, but in that scenario, Washington's going to take number 1. They're going to take the Rose Bowl.
That's true.
Yeah.
Sorry. But so, you're playing Florida State.
I think the ideal scenario is Michigan's number 1 and Florida State's number 4, right? Like, that's probably the ideal one. But in this scenario, if Florida State's number 3, then I totally agree with you there. That would be in the Sugar Bowl. Wouldn't hate that for a Michigan fan. I think it's closer for me to travel, et cetera, et cetera. So that is, Jack, you know what I want to tell these people about really quick before we continue on with this Michigan Football Report live CFP Top 25, and that is our sponsor, Prize Picks, the easiest and fastest way to play daily fantasy sports. You can just guess more or less. Just pick more or less on player stats to up to 25 times your money. Let's take a look at the prize picks that we have got going on today here at the Michigan Football Report. We got Russell Wilson. We're going more than 224.5 passing yards. We're going more on Coleridge Stroud, 264.5 yards. And then we're going more on Brock Big Beep Purdy, throwing an interception today against that vaunted Eagles defense. Look, you could put $5 on it, you could put 10, you could get 20. Depends on how many players you pick, how many picks you make. You went up to 25 times your money. It's super easy to play. I can get in the app in 60 seconds or less. They've got college football. They've got the NFL. They've got NBA, Major League Baseball when that comes back, hockey, whatever you want. It's you versus the numbers. You can mix and match sports, and reboot policy. If any of those guys gets hurt today in the first half, doesn't come back after halftime, takes it out of my prize picks. My selection lives on. Easy to play. You just pick 2 or more players, and you just choose more or less, and you can get up to $100 deposit match, up to $100 deposit match at prizepicks.com/CLNS. Click that link into the live chat. Show some support to our sponsors. Get going with Prize Picks. I think you will absolutely love it. prizepicks.com/CLNS. Who is Michigan going to play? Who will be their opponent in this college football playoff? Don't say who they should. Who do you think is going to happen? I unfortunately think it's going to be Alabama. It should be Florida State, I think. I think Texas's win over the SEC champion vaunts them above Florida State, in my opinion. So I think there's a possibility that could happen. What do you think, Jack?
Yeah, I mean, my 4 is Michigan, Washington, Texas, Alabama. That's just what I think. I think they're the 4 best teams in college football. I think it's going to be Alabama. I would love for it to be Florida State. Mm-hmm. And it very well might be Florida State. We might be shocked. But the way that the trajectory looks right now, I think it's Alabama.
All right, I see it. Let's take a look at the scoreboards from the last night's games. We've got yesterday's games and Friday night, even if we have that one. So the SEC, start with Friday night, the Pac-12 championship. Everybody wrote off Oregon, okay? I'm sorry, everybody wrote off Washington. Yeah, Washington did not write back. Oregon had lost to Washington earlier in the year. Yet somehow they were a 9.5-point favorite going into this one. Bo Nix saw his Heisman Trophy candidacy probably end. Michael Penix might have made a late run for it. I'm not sure. He didn't necessarily have a huge touchdown game, but 319 yards. That wide receiver group from Washington, they are going to be dangerous with Penix in the college football playoff. Likely the number 2 seed. They're probably going to be playing in New Orleans against whoever the 3 seed is, whether it be Alabama, whether it be Texas, whether it be Florida State. Speaking of the Longhorns, Quinn Ewers was on fire yesterday. Not everybody know this, and I didn't have the volume on the game because we went to a restaurant after my son's basketball game to watch the second half and it was already blown out. But this was a Michigan versus Ohio State matchup, all right? Oklahoma State's starting quarterback, was Michigan's 5th stringer last year, Alan Bowman. And of course, Quinn Ewers was the 3rd or 4th stringer at Ohio State as a true freshman in 2021. Both those guys transferred. This is Bowman's 3rd school now, right? He was at Texas Tech for like 3 years. Michigan for 2, and now he's a 6-year senior at Oklahoma State, captured that starting job mid-season after a quarterback injury and really led them to a much better season than they had with those early season losses that were just absolutely unforgivable. Texas blows them out. Quinn Ewers goes off. When I got to the game, Jack, he had like 349 yards a minute into the second half, right? It was crazy.
Yeah, he had over 340 yards at halftime.
That's
talking about that at halftime is absolutely crazy.
Finished with 452, I'm sorry, and 4 touchdowns. Look, if him and JJ McCarthy come back, that is going to be a wild game. It might be 1 versus 2 to start the year. Second game of the year in Michigan, September 7th in the Big House. Michigan going to host Texas in the 2 new eras of college football, the Big 18 and Texas and Oklahoma going over to the SEC. You might have a matchup of the top 2 quarterbacks in college football next year, the top 2 projected picks in the draft in 2025 if both those guys come back, but they are both draft eligible, so we will see how that shakes out. Maybe the surprise that shook up everything, right? The committee just couldn't have Alabama beat Georgia because they had the Texas problem, they had the Georgia losing problem, they had the Florida State problem. It would have shook out just so beautifully for everybody in the committee if Georgia would have won this game, and then it would have, it still had a decision to make at the end, but this one really, really shook things up with Texas beating Alabama early in the season. Alabama was up 27-17 with about 5 minutes left. Georgia marched down a very methodical drive, 3 minutes or so, get in the end zone, cut to 3 with just like 2:50 left in the game, kicked off to Alabama. They didn't have to drive 7 minutes off the clock like Michigan did against Ohio State, but that drive kind of reminded me a little bit of that Michigan one at the end of the game in the fourth quarter against Ohio State, got it down to 1 minute, they didn't really do anything crazy or special, Alabama didn't. It was Jalen Miller on his feet. I love that one play where everybody went to the right, all the linemen. He faked the wild pitch and then just went right up the middle to get that second first down and, in theory, iced the game with under a minute and a half at that point. Georgia had no timeouts left, and Alabama was able to kneel the ball a couple times, run out that 40-second play clock, and they, potentially in the college football playoff, will be the lowest team in conference championship weekend, lowest ranked team to catapult themselves on this Sunday selection show into the big dance, the 4-team CFP. Year 10, last year of the 4-team rankings. Jack, it's crazy. It's been 10 years. I was actually at the first one here in Dallas, Ohio State and Oregon. How crazy is that?
It feels forever ago, which it was. It was a decade ago. And it's crazy because now next year, the entire landscape of college football is going to be different with the 12-team playoff. So I think we have the makings. If the committee does the right thing and takes Florida State out and puts in Bama and Texas, we have the makings of an all-time playoff to end off the 10 years of 4 teams.
Jack, we're a rah-rah show today. You mean if they do the wrong thing, if they do the bias thing and get Alabama in, the right thing is to reward an undefeated Florida State team, at least in my opinion. They held on yesterday. Great defensive performance by them. I haven't watched this game. I watched the highlights last night at 1:30 in the morning when we got home from covering the Michigan postgame. 16-6. They had to go to their third-string quarterback, Brock Glenn, 55 yards passing last night in his first actually on his college football career. Gets the start, leads Florida State to an ACC championship, a 13-0 game. And people got to give Florida State more credit as a program. Their third undefeated regular season and championship game in the 10-year stretch of the college football playoff. And since 2013, I guess the 13 was the year prior, but in the last 11 seasons, that's pretty impressive. Had it going with Jimbo and Jameis Winston. Kind of fell out, up and down, a lot of 9-3, 8-4 seasons, etc. Down year 2, and now they are back up. And I think it's year 3 or year 4 with Mike Norvell as their head coach. Louisville had nothing going on offense yesterday at all. It seemed like the Florida State defense, from everything I read, was completely dominant. Reminded a lot of people of Michigan's defense or Iowa's defense. And that one was a defensive battle with Michigan winning up at halftime 10-0 and ending up winning this game 26-0 on the night. Michigan gets the third straight Big Ten championship. Jim Harbaugh, the first coach in the history of the Big Ten. All right, and I want to kind of repeat that really quick. First coach in the history of the Big Ten, Jim Harbaugh, is to win 3 straight undisputed Big Ten championships. Right now, Ohio State did it 2017, 18, 19, and 20. We understand that, but that was with 2 different coaches. And then plenty of teams, Michigan included, have won 3, 4, even 5. I mean, Michigan won 88 to 91 or whatever it was, 92, 5 straight Big Ten championships that time, and certainly before in the past. But the word undisputed meaning that in the past, if, let's say, Michigan beat Ohio State, but lost to Michigan State like they did in 2021. Both teams end up 9-1 in the Big Ten, no conference championship game. They call that a split Big Ten championship. It head-to-head didn't matter if you had the same record. So a lot of those go in. So you give Michigan a lot of credit for these back-to-back 13-0 undefeated seasons. 10-0 in the Big Ten. JJ McCarthy, 20-0 in the Big Ten as a starter, 25-1 overall. His only loss being in that TCU game last year. I think the greatest quarterback in the history now of the Big Ten. Guys, we are closing in on 500 subscribers, 30,000 subscribers. We're at 29,500. Just saw 15 people subscribe. Now we got 15 up there, Jack. There you go. 29,515 subscribers. If you've yet to do so, we're going to dominate the Michigan football media landscape in the month of December, into January, into Houston. January 8th, Michigan's going to be in the national championship game, I strongly believe, in Houston. And then it's going to continue on from there. We'll go right up to signing day in February. I think it's February 7th is the second national signing day. Before we kind of scale back from March until spring practice here and there, we scale back March until late July, early August a little bit because the appetite necessarily isn't there for a ton of offseason college football, at least not for a daily show. 29,515. Hit that subscribe button. Send the link to your friends, youtube.com/Michigan TV. Want to hear what you guys think? Let's light up the chat. The live chat has been struggling a little bit. It's been struggling. We got only a chat rate of 12. So let's see if we can get 50 people to comment who will Michigan play in the college football playoff semifinals. Let's light that bad boy up. I think it's going to be Alabama. I hope it's Florida State. I would take Texas. Texas reminds me a lot of Ohio State. So let's get some in there. Carla Duvall. Shout out Carla Duvall with a Bosa. Names her son after Michigan football players is what I have been told. Florida State from Sean. Steve saying Florida State as well. Tim Baker, FSU. A little Texas from Becky and Chad. Alabama from Justin. Chris saying Alabama as well. A-Train should be Texas. They'll make it Alabama. I mean, it'd be better for ratings if it was Alabama. I mean, a Jim Harbaugh, Nick Saban, Rose Bowl, that would drive audience. I think a Michigan, Florida State, Rose Bowl, I think most people kind of treat like TCU last year, which, of course, didn't turn out well for Michigan. But you would just assume, well, this is a team that's going to make the national title game versus a team that's lucky to be there. TCU last year, Florida State this year, and we'll see how it shakes out. But nevertheless, they put in Cincinnati 2 years ago, okay? They put in TCU last year. Maybe they didn't have a choice to put TCU in last year, but they did lose their conference championship game to Kansas State. Alabama was sitting there with 2 losses last year to TCU's 1. So there is some precedent. There's never been, of course, a 2-loss team in the 10 years of the college football playoff. Jack, toss the super chat menu up. Let's show the people what we're working for today. As for some reason, the heat is absurd in our building today, right? I'm having to take a sip of water. They've got the heat cranking from our office building, and so I've got a fan on me over here. That's why I keep taking sips of water because it's so dang hot in here. It's like 116 degrees. $10 super chat. Brand new helmet, so we're going to launch one. This is the CFP March to the CFP helmet. I got a full side, a Michigan side, and I've got a full empty side. We're just going to fill that bad boy up with stickers. $25 super chat. Jack or I will do a shot of tequila. If you want to make it a Sunday fun day with us, cheers to you. Shot of tequila. Any super chat will put you on screen and answer your question unless they just come in too hot and heavy. $50 is the Sand Jack to Houston fund. Corporate is scaling back next year on outside travel, the economy, Biden, all that crazy stuff. So we're going to raise $1,000 between now and Christmas to send Jack to Houston with me, of course. I got my corporate approved budget. I kind of suck up to the boss. Whatever, Jack, got to do a little more sucking up in your life. That's how things work in corporate America. $100, we will do a championship beer bong. I got the beer bong right here. Or we can switch it to a merbanga. This thing, if you guys remember it, it's like some sort of a mermaid? It's a mermaid. We'll chug a full one out of there. And last but not least, today's Super Chat MVP, as long as we hit the number that we've got to hit, which I think is like $400, to get this, send you a signed Blake Corum jersey. So whoever has the most Super Chats, the most dollars donated today, sign Blake Corum jersey coming from us to you. So that is the Super Chat menu for today. Jack, do we have that hard hat, like lower third picture bad boy? We have that? If not, hard hat, you guys are memorialized on the helmet if you've not done it, if not seen the show before. Anyone who sends in $10 or more super chat, we're on the helmet. We're shipping these out all December as Christmas presents to people who win different prizes and contests here at the show. And you get on our end screen. So if we don't have the end screen too, let's show that at some point if we can, Jack, today. So So Blake Corum jersey to our Super Chat MVP here on the Michigan Football Report. It is now 11:21, so we've got 39 minutes until we potentially could be announcing Michigan being the #1 team in the country. Who wants a shout out though? So $10 Super Chat, by the way, gives you on the helmet, get your name, get shout out, some attribution, helps at the show. Helps us keep doing live shows as much as we possibly can, daily shows throughout the entire football season, and then about 3 times a week from February through early August. You want to show the video? Is that what you want to do, Jack? Okay, so anyone who's a $10 Super Chat, once February happens, right after the football season, for the next full year, every video, or at least 4 or 5 videos a week, and not every single one, 4 or 5 videos a week, you will be on the end screen and be memorialized as a producer of the show heading into the 2024 season and all 2024 season long. Roll that tape. So there you have it. So that will be, there'll be more names next year, but come February, the new end screen will have your name on it. $10 Super Chat. We've been giving away helmets. We've been giving away Michigan football T-shirts. What else are we giving away? We got into Don shirts this year. We've been having a fun year, and it's all because of the contribution of all of our Super Chatters here on the Michigan Football Report. Guys, we're about 38 minutes away. Let's light up the chat. Type me if you want to shout out as we are awaiting the college football playoff top 25. We're in Dallas. That's where this committee is, okay? So we got a guy outside that door right behind Jack. He's got a cold envelope and a hot envelope. He hands Jack the hot envelope, means Michigan #1. Cold envelope means they're not, and they're in an unfavorable matchup, etc. I want Michigan to be in the Rose Bowl. I think it'd be the best way to end this era of the Big Ten, this era of the Pac-12, the college football playoff 4-team going into 16-team era. Michigan getting the win in the Rose Bowl. Head to Houston for a national championship. Light up the me's. We got Brandon Veal, Miller. We got Ken Mack. Didn't say me, but had some good commentary in there. Jeff Bromberger. Man, I got to get my eyes checked. Carla Duvall was watching. If she's still watching, you should have had your parents get my eyes checked when I was younger because I've got terrible eyes, and now I can barely see. Father of 2, trying to do shows here live on the internet. It's actually more challenging than you would expect. So more me's coming in. Becky and Chad from Toledo, Ohio. I am Key, Jody Surecki. Thanks so much for watching. I see you, Jesus Pinto. He says TCU's. Dr. Detroit says, Peep's been watching boat races and think that is new normal. It isn't. Is he talking about our boat races? Talking about duck races? I know, games. Yeah, I think you're talking about duck races. Those are live. Carla Duvall, Mike Peterson, Norman Dillard, Dr. Detroit, and Mark Eastman. We got a $20 Super Chat coming in from Ashley Lawson. $20 Super Chat coming in. Let me get a helmet sticker for Ashley. Toss her comment there up on the screen. Ashley's going to be added more to the leaderboard. We should do a duck race, another leaderboard duck race at some point, Jack. Those are electric. Ashley going to get 2 helmet stickers. Let me get this first one on here, this fresh, brand new helmet. Ashley says, go blue, Big Ten champs ×3. Puts up the emoji hands, tosses it up 100. Ashley Lawson, a top 10 super chatter. Had never super chatted before about maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, right, Jack? And then got on, won herself a, what's the date say, 12/3. Won herself a Michigan football helmet. We did a duck race for a helmet. She won one of these bad boys. I think it was Steve who won as well, right? Steve, our friend Steve, Ricard, etc. Ashley, you're going to put front and center below the Michigan football logo. We got 2 stickers coming for you. I put one on live. Well, now we do the other ones after the show. Ashley Lawson, first on this new hard hat. Go blue. That is the first super chat. Jack, let's get the chat going as we still got some time. Where's my trash can at? Throw these away. We still got some time to go before this college football playoff top 25 is announced and revealed. After we do a few comment drivers, see what people are feeling, let's do a recap from our show game last night. Tell the people who haven't watched yesterday's post-game show. But this is maybe the question that everyone needs to answer. The better holiday for you, and let's just say this point of your life, not thinking back to when you were a kid, not thinking back to when you were in your 20s, whatever it is, right now, this year, better holiday. Is it Christmas or is it New Year's? I think for everybody, it goes, someone said they want a shout. Ashley Lawson, we got there. I thought someone said they need a shout out. I was missing the, I saw a chat. I'm like, oh man, someone's really trying to get my attention. I don't know where it is now. But I think it changes. Sean Sean Ladaki says, Yoder's the GOAT. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate you watching. I Am Key says, see, Samuel with a Christmas. Jonathan, Christmas. It's pretty much Christmas across the board. Justin Courtney says, Christmas, that's not close. Becky and Chad says, New Year's Eve. They're going with the N on that one. Bill Graves. I think it goes like this, Jack. It's from birth until 15, 16, it's probably Christmas. If you got a big social life in high school, but maybe it's still Christmas in high school. In college, in your mid to late 20s, it's probably New Year's. And then we got a Texas guy in the building. What are you thinking? Jeff Cooperstein, he's nervous. The Texas guy, he's nervous. He said he's going to Riot up in Grapevine. If they leave Texas out, you going up to Riot? I will bail you out. I will get your bail, and then I'll pay the first $1,000 for your legal fees, okay? And then we'll figure out the situation after that. Maybe a leave of absence if you're like in prison or anything like that. So you won't be fired for it. That's all I can promise you. And I will get you out of jail. Okay. Jeff is going to Grapevine to the CFP headquarters to riot if Texas is let out. So let me finish the story there as we had some folks come into the studio to show Michigan some love. I'd say like 17 through 29, or when you have your first kid, 30, it's New Year's. And then once you have a kid or you get too old, to really go out and have some New Year's, then it's back to Christmas again. So I think for me at this point, Jack, it's Christmas. What about you?
Well, I'm gonna do a little curveball here. Okay, I love Christmas time. So like Christmas will always be my favorite, just because I love Christmas. But I think New Year's Day is the better of the New Year's, in my opinion, because usually how it goes is you're off, like from work, it's like you're off New Year's Eve and you're off New Year's Day. The reason I love Christmas so much is if you're not working and you have Christmas off, like most people do, there is no obligation to do anything.
Sure.
And I feel like that's the same way for New Year's Day. There is no obligation to do anything, and you get all the bowl games. There's usually some sort of basketball games as well.
Yeah.
And it's just, you're just in your pajamas, on the couch, watching sports, just chilling. So I personally, as the notorious partier that I am.
You are?
Not. I like New Year's Day better. But Christmas is my be-all, end-all. I love Christmas.
Yeah. Jack, I'm going to send somebody back here. There you go. Thank you, Patrick. I'm going to send Jake back here, Jake Chipper, and maybe talk about what happens after the announcement's made. If we need a little substitute for you. So Chipper's going to swing back and talk. So if he comes back, that is that. So I'll give some shout outs here who are loving this. So we've got Todd is saying F and C. I'm not sure. Maybe that's Florida State. Maybe it's a little delayed. We're catching up there. Yep. AP poll is out. Who's number one? Okay. There it is. Michigan football is ranked number one in the AP top 5. Is that tweet worthy, Jack? Is I put up my tweet I told you about or no? Maybe I'll wait till the CFP. I'll wait for the CFP. Yeah, thank you, Patrick. Give me the water refill. Is it hot in here or is it just me? It's crazy hot in this place today. I don't know what. I have to call the building and get a rent abatement. Yeah, well, you're cold? That's weird, Jack. Okay, Michigan 1, Washington 2, Texas 3, Florida State 4, Alabama 5. Now, odds are out right now for the I guess getting in the top 4. Alabama has better odds than not. So yes is minus 122. No is even money for Alabama. Florida State is minus 154. So technically better odds, but they've got worse odds than no. So it's like kind of like Alabama's like small margins, and then Florida State's got wide ones. So you can make some money, really more money with Florida State if you take a guess at it, right? It's Alabama's basically saying it's 50-50.
Does that mean Texas doesn't get in with those odds?
I think it's saying that Texas is in no matter what. That's what I'm saying, right?
Okay.
And then it's kind of like both those are basically 50. They're 50-50 odds basically from there. Maybe yes for Florida State is slightly better than 50-50, so for Alabama. But that's just the sports books kind of hedging their bets because you know that you would assume that most of the bets that would come in this late in the stage would be for those fans. So you want to slant the odds in the favor of the sports book. Jack, let's take. We got 30 minutes left. We got 29. We got a countdown clock up now for the college football playoff top 25 to come out. Love to start recapping the game from last night. just maybe go recap yesterday's show, last night's show, all the things that we talked about, Michigan and Iowa. So the Wolverines get the 26-0 victory. It was lackluster. There were 11 yards gained on the 2 touchdown drives. You heard me, correct? 11 yards, right? 6 yards and 5 yards. I have that right? I'm pretty sure that's what it was. You had the Samaj Morgan, and that guy is just a talker. Have you seen his interviews after the game? Did you see his Instagram live last week? It was pretty hilarious. He was just calling everybody at Ohio State the B word, saying F Ohio State. It's kind of a firecracker. And the fact that Jim Harbaugh put him on national TV, I know that the Michigan PR people were probably like, not Samaj, he's crazy. But he's very charismatic, knows what he's saying. He was on there last night. Really funny. Gave a few different interviews after the game. Samaj Morgan took it down inside the 5, right at the 5-yard line. Michigan punched in. And then the play where Mike Sainristil came kind of out on the outside and hit the quarterback's arm from Iowa at Deacon Hill. And then Michigan recovered. Josh Walsh recovered. Even though it was kind of like, look at the play, they just picked it up. They gave Michigan the ball after Jim Harbaugh fought for the replay. And as such, 2 Michigan punt, turnover, touchdown drives there. Wolverines also had 4 field goals in the game. And I don't think it can be stressed enough how good of a transfer James Turner has turned into be. Michigan didn't need him the first 8-9 games of the year, right? They didn't need him at all. And you probably didn't even know who he was half the time. Penn State game, he was out there, right? And then, of course, Maryland, they needed him here and there. Came through in the clutch in Ohio State. Some deep kicks, some clutch kicks in all 3 of those games. And then came through again in the Big Ten Championship, 4 for 4 on field goals. Michigan scores 12 points off his right foot. 2 touchdowns. There goes your 26. My prediction was 31-0, so wasn't that far off. Will Johnson was in the game, was on the sideline, I should say, in full uniform, but did not play. Feel like it was more precautionary for me. I did see that Spunky Samaj is James spelled backwards. I tweeted that out yesterday. Ironically, Jack, right after we started the show, Michigan started to have a run. I think there was 3 commits they had. 2 are still on the roster of players named Samaj. Not saying it has anything to do with me, but like after the Fab Five, all of a sudden you had a generation of kids being named Jalen. Maybe the Michigan Football Report was that influential with big-time Michigan football families whose sons, of course, go on to play in the for the Wolverines. Let's go, baby. Big Ten champions, 3P. If you're loving it as much as I do, I don't think this will be a time. I think this will be a 3-year run. Everyone who's a Michigan football fan will remember forever in a lot of ways because it's the end of an era of college football. It was, they say dawn comes right before it starts. What's that saying? It's like yeah. It's the things are darkest, the lights are darkest right before dawn. And that was 2020, right? That was losing to Indiana. That was losing to Michigan State by being favored by 3 touchdowns. That was almost losing to Rutgers, right? Had to have a comeback. The Cade McNamara era started then. That was losing to a bad Penn State team at home, at night, 2-4 season. Jim Harbaugh, you're fired. No, you're going to come back. You're going to give a completely new staff, everybody under like 35, 36 years old, and has turned the college football world on its head. Michigan in the playoff 3 straight years. The only team that's been in the playoff for 3 straight years. The only team other than Alabama and Clemson. So 3 teams have had a 3-year run where they've been ranked in the top. No, I'm sorry. Just Alabama. Michigan, now Alabama. Only teams now that have had a 3-year run where they've been ranked in the top 2 to enter the CFP. Michigan and Clemson and Alabama have been the only ones to have a top 2 run 2 years in a row. Now Michigan, a 3-year run of being a top 2 entrance along with Alabama. Get those 3s in the comments. I see you, Damon Campbell, Mike Fort. Appreciate you guys. Get your Big Ten Championship gear. I just ordered some for Jack and I. We got some Big Ten Championship shirts. There's some on there that say like back to back to back. They've got the full assortment of Michigan football Big Ten Championship gear. Rock this bad boy because this one means a lot. This one silenced the haters. It silenced the doubters. It silenced the losers, of which there are many. Silenced who? Silenced Tony Petitti. Did you see that scumbag last night? Jim Harbaugh wants Zach Sinter, and Petitti literally just handed him the trophy, didn't say, I'm sorry about your injury. Congratulations for your 3rd straight Big Ten championship. Good luck, Zach. Get better. He handed the trophy, and he beelined to the back of the stage and kind of slid it out there. And Jim Harbaugh, all he really said, about all the haters and losers was what, Jack? He just said, bet. That's all he said. Ashley Lawson, 3-peat, woohoo. If Jim does not go pro, JJ will come back 1 more year. And I texted a couple of my buddies in the last day or 2 about, well, JJ comes back. Michigan's probably preseason number 1 next year. No way JJ will come back. That's absurd, et cetera, et cetera. Andrew Luck came back for his 4th year, right? Andrew Luck came back for his 4th year at Stanford back when Jim Harbaugh was the head coach. 2010, he was a redshirt sophomore. Harbaugh went to the NFL, actually, in 2011. but he came back. Michigan wins 26-0. All right. Michigan is 13-0 for the second time ever. The Wolverines 13-0 for the second time ever in school history. Jack, toss that one on the screen for me if you can. 13-0 for the second time in school history, and it is back-to-back. Now, this is a very slanted stat. They didn't start playing 13-game schedules until about 12-game schedules about 18 years ago. So pre-2005 or whatever it is, it was almost impossible to get a 13-0 start because you only have the opportunity in years where you've either played a Hawaii or potentially would have played in one of those Pigskin Classic games or whatever to start the season off there. So 13-0, second time ever, back-to-back, Michigan, the third team in the last 125 years, 120 years, third team in the last 120 years to go 13-0, back-to-back years to start a season. It's never done by another Big Ten team. It's never been done by an SEC team. It's never been done by a Big 12 team or a Pac-12 team. The only two teams that have done it are Florida State 2013 and 14, both started 13-0, and then Clemson 18 and 19. Both those teams, their first time they did it, so it would have been 2022 for Michigan. The 13 and the 18 Clemson teams, their first 13-0, they won the national title, tried to go for the repeat, couldn't get it done. Maybe Michigan's going a little inverse to that, gets it on the second end of this 13-0. Blake Corum, officially a legend. There are so many guys in this Michigan football team that are now, in my opinion, legends, all-time legends. For a program that went a good decade or so without a ton of legends, kind of following Chad Henne, Mike Hart, up until Jabril Peppers, like 2016. You had a run there. It was like just Denard Robinson and nobody else. But you've got, obviously, Blake Corum, 55 touchdowns rushing on his career. Ties Anthony Thomas for the Michigan football record, 24 on this season. That's just absurd to me. He is the Michigan football record for a single season by 4 now over his teammate Hassan Haskins from 2 years ago. Mike Sainristil is an absolute legend. JJ McCarthy is a legend. I think the best quarterback by far at this point in Michigan football history. And I actually think there's a very good case that you could say he's the best quarterback in the history of the Big Ten. Mike Sainristil, I think Will Johnson, even though he didn't play yesterday, he's on his way to becoming a legend. Michael Barrett, a legend of this program, been around here for 6 years, 3 years starting as linebacker on Big Ten championship teams. There's been so much turnover from the first team that won in 2021 to 2022, right? Think back to 2021, the running back room, Hassan Haskins, Donovan Edwards, Blake Corum. And then 2 years later, 2 of those 3 guys are still with this team. But yesterday, the offense looked ugly, okay? Iowa's got a really good defense. That's not to be ignored or looked over by any means. But this offense, I don't think, has really looked right since the Purdue game. JJ had 335 yards, whatever it was, against Purdue. Looked really sharp. And then you go the next week against Penn State, and it just didn't look right. JJ got dinged up a little bit there. The Maryland game looked putrid on offense. Ohio State, outside of a couple plays, Michigan made the plays they need to make last week, but it wasn't a fluid offense. It didn't look perfect. They did enough to get the job done. And then you have against Iowa last night. So you start off hot. This offense is unstoppable the entire year, 9 straight games. And then games 10, 11, 12, and 13 has kind of looked mediocre. Passing from the pocket has continued to be a challenge for this team. It's something they got better at as the year went on last year. And I think actually JJ did a pretty good job of it when they let him in the second half against TCU. But nevertheless, the last 4 weeks, it just has not been there for this team. JJ yesterday was 22 of 30 for 147 yards. No touchdowns, though, but plenty of sacks. Negative 35 rushing yards for JJ because of all those sacks. Cornelius Johnson had himself a career day, right? Didn't get in the end zone. So it wasn't a day like Ohio State was back in 2022 in Ohio State when he had 2 first-half touchdowns. But Cornelius Johnson, career-high 64 yards on the day. Seemed like he was JJ's, insurance blanket in a lot of ways, right? No one's open deep. Boom, underneath 6 yards of Cornelius, 8 yards of Cornelius, 6 yards of Cornelius, on and on. 9 catches on the day. Passing game woes. It was dink and dunk. I don't think that's going to work against Alabama for sure. If they get lucky and get Florida State, then maybe Michigan could win that game without a deep downfield passing threat. But I'm just wondering if Michigan has approached the last 3 or 4 weeks, Jim Harbaugh being suspended, coming back as just don't turn the ball over. Don't beat ourselves down the stretch of this game, even against Ohio State in some regards. Don't beat ourselves. Yesterday, I think there was plenty of times I saw people putting screenshots on Twitter of JJ having guys wide open or open by 4 or 5 steps downfield, even across the middle, and he would go to the sideline to Cornelius for 6 yards, or Colson Loveland for 5 yards, and he didn't take those shots really at all yesterday. And why is that? I'm not saying Michigan's holding back. I don't want to be that guy and say, like, oh, their offenses look like crap. They're just going to hold it out for Ohio State. No, they're going to hold it out for the college football playoff, etc. But there's probably something to be said that they just didn't want to do what many opponents have done against Iowa over the last forever, but specifically this year and last year, is lose the game by playing into what Iowa wants you to do, which is to turn the ball over and not have good things in special teams. Lucky for Michigan yesterday, they didn't need to throw the ball downfield because Iowa, they made the multiple turnovers, right? Their quarterback, got hit throwing the ball forward. Their wide receiver caught the ball, then got hit by Mike Sainristil. Ball came out, 2 turnovers there, and they gave up the big time punt return. I think it was 87 yards from Samaj Morgan. His first punt return. I knew that, but I kind of made it make sense. His first punt return as a Michigan football player, he catches it around the 7-yard line and just jukes 2 guys, etc., up the field. And then the last 10 yards, I don't think he was ready for college football running a punt return because it looked like he had a piano on a fridge on his back those last 10 yards. Ironically, though, the guy from Iowa that caught him was the gunner, the first one to miss him. He slid back like the 3-yard line. He was like 12 yards behind Samaj Morgan when Samaj was trying to do some juke moves. The guy just came flying up the opposite sideline and ended up getting the angle and catching Samaj Morgan. That guy is the kind of guy that Michigan has. Tons of those on their team, but shout out to him. I don't even know his name. We should know that chased down Samaj Morgan for that tackle. How about this defense? Let's get going right now. Defense. That's a all-time defense for Michigan. You didn't need an all-time defensive performance yesterday to beat Iowa. It was not necessary. We all know that. We know what Iowa was. I think if Michigan would have lost, it would have been like it would have probably been fire-worthy for Jim Harbaugh if he'd have lost this game to Iowa. We knew it was not going to happen. Michigan's offense didn't do much either, but the defense from the Wolverines forced the 2 turnovers. Really didn't give Iowa any chance to score yesterday whatsoever. The only time they got inside the 30-yard line or so was then when they got the catch and the fumble forced by Mike Sainristil. 120 yards passing, only 35 yards rushing. Michigan would have been right at about 100 yards if it's not for JJ McCarthy's minus 35 that came from sacks. Let's take a look at the tackle leaders yesterday from the Big Ten championship game. 8 tackles for Ernest Hausman. 8 tackles for Junior Colson. 7 tackles for Michael Barrett. Brad Moore coming up and having support from the free safety role. In a lot of ways, this kind of shows you what kind of offense that Iowa ran. It was an offense that was not throwing the ball deep. It was not throwing the ball downfield. It was trying to keep the ball between the hash marks with running the football and then a lot of dink and dunk stuff that Michigan did as well, but Iowa kept it sometimes more over the middle than Michigan, which seemed to want to go outside the hash marks, throw all the dink and dunk stuff towards the sideline. A lot of those to Cornelius Johnson, quite a few of those to Colston Loveland. This is a national title defensive line. I truly think that. I think there's a lot of players in this defensive line that are going to be stars in the NFL. I think there may be as many as 3 or 4 first-round picks right now in the 2 deep on this defensive line. And Chris Jenkins has a chance this year. Latter 10 picks of the first round. I certainly think Mason Graham in 2025 NFL draft as well. And then I forgot his name again last night. I'm doing it again. I got a mental block. Kenneth Grant. Kenneth Grant. The guy scares me. He is so huge. He's so fast. They had a couple of zoom-ins of his helmet yesterday. His eyes, like he looks off the field. It seems like a nice guy. Seems like a big teddy bear. On the field, he looks like an absolute maniac. He just looks like he wants to annihilate his opponent, and I love it. Frankly, I absolutely love it. This defensive line, it looks like one of those defensive lines from when LSU when they won the national title, or in Alabama, or hell, even a Georgia. It feels like a national title, or a defensive line that can and should win a national title. And frankly, outside of maybe the LSU team, maybe one other team, I'm not even sure. Like LSU team is really the only one I can think of. Name me a national title team in the last 15 years that hasn't had an absolutely dominant defensive line. Clemson, when they won in 2018, defensive line was absolutely absurd. You had like 4 guys drafted in the first 2 rounds in that. You had Trevor, Lawrence, the true freshman. You had Travis Etienne, et cetera, et cetera. That defensive line is what won them the national title. Alabama, of course, Georgia, it is always the same song. You can have the high-powered offense, which Michigan has had at times this year. If you have that defensive line, realistically, in terms of speaking, you should and will be able to stop almost anybody you face, and that's what can win national titles for a Big Ten team. Hasn't happened in 9 years. Let's hope Michigan can make it a last win in the college football playoff. 4-team bracket. Michigan gets a win for the Big Ten. Georgia loses. Michigan's number 1, right? We are now 14 minutes and 11 seconds to, the show. To breaking down who's going to get there. Now, the committee might hold out for us. They may stretch this out for 10, 20 minutes. I'm not sure, Jack. We'll see. It's a drive ratings. We can't control that. But Michigan, Georgia loses. Michigan is number 1. Michigan's in the college football playoff. I think they're going to go to the Rose Bowl, right? The only reason you would go to the Sugar Bowl, because the first team, the number 1 seed, has their choice, okay? The only reason Michigan would choose the Sugar Bowl, I think Jim Harbaugh would absolutely do that. I don't think he cares about tradition in that sense at all. He wants to win the game. He would only do it if Michigan was like the number 1 seed, they get the choice, and they're facing a number 4 Washington, or a number 4 Oregon, or a number 4, USC, should they be in the playoffs. They're not going to do that against Texas, Alabama, or Florida State, because it's driving-ish distance. It's from Dallas, it's probably, 10 hours to New Orleans. From Florida State, Tallahassee, it's probably 10 hours. Alabama, 6 hours to drive to New Orleans. So when people can drive, a lot more people show up in the stadium, around the stadium. Not that many people are going to drive to California for the Rose Bowl from any of those schools. So you have to have flight, airfare, puts a little bit of a financial burden. So I would expect Michigan, with a more vast alumni group living in more parts around the country, let's just be frank, more people leave Michigan after college than they do the state of Texas or state of Florida, just because obviously weather reasons. So I think Michigan will have more of a West Coast presence already, and then a lot of people like me will fly out there for this game, as it could potentially be monumental in this arc of the 14th game of what should be a 15-0, I believe, national championship season. 13 games down, though, 2 to go for Michigan. We've been saying Houston or bust since January, since the loss to TCU. Once we knew everybody was coming back, Blake Corum made his announcement a couple days before. I think it was the morning of the college football playoff national title game. He was coming back last year. Zach Sinter came back. Michael Barrett could have left the program. He decided to come back. Trevor Keegan, they all came back to be where they are right now. 3 straight, beat Ohio State again, Big Ten champs, number 1 seed, and about to be ranked number 1. We're going to wait for the CFP to come out, even though Michigan is now number 1 in the AP poll for the first time since January of 1998. I don't know from you guys. We're about 10, 11 minutes, 12 minutes away from the rankings potentially being put in front of us. Who will Michigan play? Texas, Alabama, Florida State. Let's get 50 people to light up the comments right now, the live chat. Texas, Alabama, Florida State. Texas, Alabama, Florida State. Let's see what you guys are thinking. We got an F coming in from Brian. Brad with an F. Becky and Chad saying T for Texas. Ken Mack with an A for Alabama. Patty Grimes saying Florida State. So Tim saying Michigan 1, Washington 2, Texas 3, Alabama 4. All right, he's saying Texas beats Washington, and we beat Texas 17-14 in the national title game. I'll take it. Okay, cool. I'll take it. Brian with an F, Brad F, Becky and Chad, Ken Max saying Alabama. We got Rob J with Texas. Bill is saying Alabama. Jay Higgy is saying Florida State. Some guy with an A. Who said that? It was AP poll will be the playoffs. A. Schraub saying AP poll will be the playoffs. He thinks Bama gets left out. Brad Earl says, how do you punish an undefeated conference champion? It's true. There's going to be chaos either way. There's going to be a lot of people saying SEC bias if Alabama gets in. There's a ton of people going to be saying you left out the SEC champion. The SEC should have 2 teams in. It should be Michigan, Washington, Georgia, Texas, or Alabama. That's what some people are going to say. Not me. That's what a lot of people are going to say. Keep it rolling here. We got an F from Robert. Ogre's Card says Florida State. Dallas says Alabama. Carson says Florida State. Jody says Texas. Andrew B. loves the Lord. He says Florida State. Thomas gives us an Alabama. And Ash Rob says Florida State. So does Ashley Lawson. Melbourne, Texas. Peyton Weaver, he says Florida State, but also says go blue. And Bill A., he says A. Guys, every 100 likes we get in the show, we're going to do 1 spin on the Wheel of Fun. So let me check the like counter at 5 away. So at 95 likes. So give us a like. 5 likes, we will do a spin on the Wheel of Fun. Jack, show us what's on the Wheel of Fun right now. 4 away now. So like it. The few things on there: tell a dad joke, sing Hail to the Victors, 5 squats, wear the helmet for 5 minutes. Oh, we have to get my soft helmet. That's what I meant by that, Jack. So if we get that one, that's 1947 national title helmet. Shot a fireball, celebration cheers, 5 push-ups, or spin again. We'll do that with 4 more likes. We hit the likes, so we should just do one now. But ask this question first, Jack. Oh, no, we can go to that. Whatever you want to do. Where will JJ be in 2024? Michigan or the NFL? Let me know what you guys are thinking. Michigan or the NFL, JJ McCarthy, in 2024. I hope he comes back because he's not going to be a top 10 pick, I don't think, as unless he absolutely lights it up in these last 2 games. But I think the last 4 or 5 weeks, he's kind of taken a step back. He's no longer the third quarterback in a lot of these rankings. Jaden Daniels, even Michael Penix, Bo Nix have sometimes jumped him. And I think that JJ McCarthy could come back and being mocked as the number 1 pick in the 2025 NFL draft if he were to come back for what would be his true senior year. So let me know what you guys are thinking. Most people, it's actually pretty 50-50 right now. Michigan man making a good point. He's not NFL ready. Yeah. I think that's potentially could say it, but I do think he has the NFL talent, certainly more than a lot of people do. So I think I gotta go look through, Jack. I gotta go look back through my notes. Somewhere I have my dad jokes for the show. I have to find them, but I think I got one off the top of my head that we can do. So here is the Wheel of Fun as we are now 9 minutes or so, less than 9 minutes for the college football playoff top 25 and CFP matchups being revealed. Let's roll, Jack. Let's see what we got. Wheel of Fun, since we have hit 100 likes and after 120 likes, as we have about 500 people watching here live, it lands on Spin Again. All right, Spin Again. Boo! Shot of Fireball. All right, Jack, you want to facilitate that for me? All right, Shot of Fireball coming as the Michigan Football Report. Jack's going to go grab me one. We didn't, we were here late last night till after like 1 a.m. Had to be back in here this morning at 8 a.m., et cetera. So we didn't have all of the stupid human tricks ready, Shot of Fireball, et cetera, et cetera. Jack, make sure you give me a clean shot glass, Jack. Nothing dirty. Some guy with the $20 super chat, my man, he says my top 4. As soon as Jack gets back with that Shot of Fireball, we will put this on screen. My top 4, the best teams. Michigan 1, Washington 2, Texas is 3, and Alabama is 4. I think JJ returns, but we shall see. Some guy coming back hot and heavy. I'm going to get you back on the helmet. You got 2 helmet stickers. I'm going to give you one right now. It is now 12. What's the date? 3. Super chat, $20 coming in from some guy. Whew, looking a little, he's a little like some backwash in there or something from somebody. All right. Shot of Fireball it is. Jack, some guy with the soup, with the $20 super. All right, got some Fireball. Got the shot here. Not that bad for 10:53 in Central Time Zone where we live. So we'll take it. Some guy, let me get you on the helmet sticker. I don't know if you can argue with that, what he puts up there. I think if you're saying the best 4 teams, I was even saying this week, I was like, look, Florida State, if they got in at number 4 seed, which I would have thought would have happened if they got in against Georgia, all right? Before Alabama lost to Georgia, I said, who wants to see Georgia beat Florida State 52-10 or 52-3 or 41-0? And so I could see people saying that, the same thing about Michigan facing them, because I don't think Florida State would be able to score at all against Michigan, although I don't know how much Michigan's success would have against that Florida State defense that's looked among the best in the country. I would say top 5 or 6 defense in all of college football. Super chat menu, though, as we're now 5 minutes, about 5 minutes and 50 seconds away from top of the hour, high noon, college football playoff, top 25. We have 550 people watching, only 133 likes. Like that video. Every 100 likes. What do we say? Every 100 likes, what, a shot of Fireball? Oh, spin of the wheel. I'm sorry. That's right. So we've got that. Today's Super Chat MVP, right? If you want to do a championship beer bong, you want to see me, father of 2, get drunk at my son's birthday party this afternoon. So if I get wild, I might have to get there. He broke his arm in October, so we had to reschedule his birthday party to today, this afternoon. Michigan football helmets was given away. Super Chat MVPs a couple weeks ago. Today's, though, is a Blake Corum signed jersey, assuming we've got to get to $400 minimum has got to be the number 1. If we don't get to that number, we'll give a T-shirt or something to our top Super Chatter of the day. Today's Super Chat leaderboard, I think we've got a 2-way tie so far. We've got 3 people have Super Chat so far. Ashley Lawson, $20, tied with some guy at a 20 spot, and the Lost Angels with a 5 burger on this show. I want to know from you guys, though, who will Michigan play in the CFP semifinals? I'm not sure what else can be said as we are now on the moments away, right? All the debate has happened. Just want to kind of hear you guys' thoughts. I got to go blue from Brad. Jay Shivs the go blue. F the SEC from Brad as well. Who do you not want to play as a Michigan fan? I didn't want to play Oregon and Georgia. I didn't want to play Oregon and Georgia. I thought Oregon coming into this week was playing the best football over the past 5 weeks of any team in the country. I think Oregon. See you, Cody Mount, with that $5 super chat. And Steve with a 50 burger. He is at the top of our super chat MVP. Get those in a second. I'll finish this thoughts. I didn't want to play Georgia because I just, it's just the final boss. I didn't want to play them at least in the first round. Take your chance in the championship game. I didn't want to play Oregon, which it looked like Michigan would play in a 2-3 matchup in the Rose Bowl. Now that's not happening. Michigan should be able to win a game against Alabama, Texas, right? Florida State, of course. If somehow it was Washington, which it won't be, but let's just say they moved Alabama all the way up to number 1 or something crazy like that. Okay, cool. Michigan, Washington, 2-3. I think Michigan should win any of those games. They would have been underdogs to Oregon by about 2 points or so. They would have been underdogs to Georgia probably by about 6.5 points. I think they'd be favored against any other of those teams and have more talent, have more seniors, have more discipline, more chance of, more background of winning. I think for sure that they can and should. Out of these teams, though, I would probably say I would least like to face Alabama just because it's Alabama. But, not from a talent perspective. I haven't seen anything on the field that says that. Most like to face Florida State because they don't have their starting quarterback. I think Michigan can and would beat Texas. Maybe, I won't say fairly easily, but I think Texas is Ohio State light. I think Michigan's defense could shut them down because they want to do the same thing that Ohio State's tried to do the last 3 years, and Michigan would be able to rise up to the task. Plus, Texas's starting running back is out for the season, so they've got other guys that can make plays, but not nearly as effective as their starter. Got some super chats to get to. 2 minutes, 45 seconds left. Cody Mountford coming in with a $5 super chat, says Washington, Michigan. Now, he thinks Washington's going to jump over Michigan. Florida State, Texas as your top 4. Wouldn't be right to leave out an undefeated champion. I agree with that. And the precedent goes back to Ohio State losing the starting quarterback JT Barrett in 2014 against Michigan. A week later, they go out and beat Wisconsin 59-0, and they get in the college football playoff, jump over Big 12 co-champs at the time, TCU and Baylor. More super chats coming in from Steve. Our friend Steve. Is it Ricard, Richard? We don't know, so he's just been upgraded to Steve. Committee votes on most deserving. They said, I agree, that's what it's felt like it's always been over the past decade. It's always been most deserving. But Boo Corrigan, who's new, right? I think it's his first year or second year, as this 2 years, I think so it's the second year, taking over for what Bill Hancock was prior to him. He said that it's 4 best in his new committee of the last 2 years. So we will see. Let me get Steve a helmet sticker. Despite losing Jordan Travis, Florida State, they should be in. They won undefeated. Put them in. Steve, you're at the top of our leaderboard to get a Blake Corum jersey, signed jersey. Let me get you on the oh, yeah, that is a send Jack to Houston fund. All right, so we got to update that, Jack, those numbers. All right, Steve, our friend Steve, 12-3. You're getting 5 helmet stickers. Let me get this first one on there. And you are donating to the Send Jack to Houston fund. You're up there next to Ashley Lawson and some guy who have put $10 or more on today's Super Minute. Our guy, Dominic Francillo. Dominic, I know you hit me on Instagram. It's been a hellacious week. I will get that. We owe you a jersey, or a hard hat, Dominic, and a T-shirt. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Dominic says, "Go Blue." Dominic's been a long-time super chat. He's on the end screen menu, I believe, right, Jack? Thank you so much for the contribution, Dominic. After today, things calm down for a little bit week. We've got a few things to send out, including 2 to Dominic for winning a couple of duck races a few weeks ago. As we now approach 29,600 subscribers, we're getting close to 30,000 here on the Michigan Football Report. Hit that subscribe button right below the video. Daily Michigan football videos this entire month, the lead up to the college football playoff, the lead up what's likely to be a Rose Bowl game against Texas, Alabama, or Florida State. Hit that subscribe button. Send it to a friend too, right? Send that link to a friend. Make sure that they are joining the fun. I don't want to say the pirate ship or anything like that, but joining in the fun here on the Michigan Football Report. I'll put the link in the chat too, so you can just copy and paste that. Send that to your friends, as we are now at 29,532 subscribers. About 1 minute, right? It's happened. So we're under a minute. We are now at 12 noon Eastern time. We are getting ready to go. College football playoff top 25. Rich is where says, don't sleep on Florida State. They're a lot more like PSU than OSU and Iowa. I think the defense is great for Florida State. It certainly is. I just don't know where they would get the offense. We got a $55 super chat. Kind of a random number, but I like it. We're going to put him on the Jack Fund. We're going to put that one on there. So take the whole 55, Jack, on that one. Big D Retro is now leading the charge with our super chat. He takes over Steve. Steve, our friend Steve. You can just $6 get you back up at the top. But Big D Retro is leading the charge for a Blake Corum signed jersey. I'm going to get a helmet sticker, a hard hat sticker for you. Retro. The date today is, it's 12/3. Damn it. Okay. Okay. Are we sure they're going to start right away, though? That's where I'm concerned. I think that the committee is going to hold out on us. They're going to. There's Steve. Steve who? Steve, our friend Steve. Big D, I got you on the helmet, baby. I got you. I see you, Big Retro, over the $55 super chat. Send in Jack to Houston with that $50 super chat. We are now at $305? No, $355 for the Send Jack to Houston fund. 405. Steve, our guy Steve, with another $50 super chat. Let me get him another sticker here on the Michigan Football Report. Boom! Steve is coming in hot. Richard's where we'll toss yours. Oh, Steve there. Send Jack to Houston. Steve said, he says, don't sleep on Florida State. Richard's where with a $5. Thank you so much for the $5, Richard. They have a defense like Penn State, not necessarily like Iowa and Ohio State. I think that's fair to say. I just think their offense is so rudimentary. We got a $2 coming from Tattoo Hick who says, bet. Big D Retro, you were number one. $55, a big-time super chat. Is that a first-time super for him, too? I've never seen Big D before. I like it. Really? Oh, so it might be first time the show. So first time super chat is just for YouTube in general. Okay, got it. Big D with a $55 super chat. He's sending Jack to Houston. So is Steve. We're now $405 on the Send Jack to Houston fund. Trying to get to 1,000 by Christmas. Corporate overlords are saying, cut back on travel, the economy. So we're going to raise the money. And if we get within a couple $100, I'm just going to put the money in myself. But Send Jack to Houston. Steve has contributed $100 today. He is our super chat MVP to get himself a Blake Corum Michigan football signed jersey. Tattoo Hick says, bet. How do you like Jim Harbaugh last night? Just saying, what does this mean to you? All the controversy, all this, that, the other. And he just leaned into the microphone with Joel Klatt. And he just said, bet, right? Just bet. Just like the players tweeted out going into the Penn State game back on November 11th. 4 weeks ago now, right? Or 3 weeks ago. Only 3 weeks ago. So type bet if you want to shout out as we're going to wait for this college football playoff top 25. Carla Duvall says Harbaugh is a boss. Bet. Throw up the Y. Joseph O'Connor. Tyrion FN says bet as well. Jack, you know what I wore today? I wore my shoes that always seem to come untied because I don't know, they just match the pants I have on, so I got to put these on. Joshua Troxdale says bet. Kenneth Kissinger. Timothy Rogers. Michigan man. Or Timothy Rogers, Tennessee baby. I think you're in the wrong spot, buddy, but I guess that's fair. Becky and Chad. Laser Buffalo. Tryon. Zomgoat. Laser Buffalo again. Susan Gort says Michigan, Washington, Florida State, Texas. Texas over Bama as Texas beat Alabama. Yeah, got to make sure those head-to-heads count or no one's going to ever schedule tough games. We got a $10 super chat coming in from Ted D. Says, bet, go blue. Let me get you a helmet sticker, Ted. Ted D. D. And it is 12-3. A hail to Ted D. Not his first time super chatting ever. So I think it's the first time here, though, which is thank you so much. Big D Retro with another 55 burger. We got Ted D on the helmet. We got Ted D on the helmet with a with super chat, $10. He says, bet, go blue. Big D Retro tossing another 55 in. My man, who has it better than us? Nobody, says Big D in the live chat. Michigan versus everybody. I love this shirt, right? And it's kind of funny when you try to explain to people who don't understand college football. They're like, what does that even mean? I'm like, oh, you got to follow the news more. You got to watch the Michigan Football Report more. You got to just pay attention to what's happening out there a little bit more because Michigan has been the target of everybody in college football, right? The NCAA, everybody, this entire college football season. $2 super chat also coming in from Tattoo Hick again. He says, I'm from Alaska and I am a die-hard Wolverine. Love you. Wolverine Alaska's there too. His daughter, Leanne, so maybe you guys can sync up. He's some sort of Wolverine Alaska medical profession, doctor, but you guys should sync up as we got another $2 super chat coming from Tattoo Hick. Tattoo Hick, I'm making this deal. You get $4, 6 more. I'm immortalizing you on the hard hat that we'll ship out to some of our top viewers, and we'll put you on the end screen. So $6 more gets you a hard hat on the show. As now we wait. College football playoff, top 25. What happened, Jack? What happened? Some guy with the $100. Boom! Some fucking guy. What a guy he is. He's not what a guy, Jack. This is some guy, right? He says, I think a lot of fans are going to be disappointed. The chaos will continue shortly when the committee picks. Jack, I think we owe him a beer, don't we? Let's knock it out right now before the rankings come in. There should be plenty in the short fridge right outside the studio here. I like this one. Impaler of Horizons. He says, will the sports media be able to handle? We got $10 coming in from Outdoor Montana. Another 10 coming in from Tattoo Hick. We got to get these up there. Let me take this beer bong first, Jack, before the rankings come out because we owe it to some guy. I don't have one yet. If you just want to grab me one, I don't want any get warm or anything. So, all right, MVP is bringing up the Blake Corum jersey. We have hit the $400 number. So someone's getting a signed Blake Corum jersey from us to you as we're at $404 here on the Michigan Football Report. What's that? No doubt. Let me pop this bad boy open. No free ads. So we got some silver bullets, but not going to mention the name of the beer. But we got a couple more super chats to get to. Want to pound this before. Whoa. Just pouring a little haphazardly. Oh, geez. Before the rankings are handed to us in the hot envelope. Outdoor Montana. He says Yoder for AD. Look, I'm not going to argue with you there. I would tell you this: that Michigan would have Jim Harbaugh signed to a lifetime deal after the last 3 seasons, and it would have been revealed in spectacular fashion. It would have been revealed on the field last night with Tony Petitti, 10 feet away, and just kind of, hey Tony, what do you got? 3-game suspension? Didn't mean anything. Didn't mean anything. Do you need Harbaugh to beat Penn State? No. Do you need Harbaugh to beat Ohio State? Not this year. Okay. We need him to continue to lead this Michigan football program down long term into the CFP. 2024 could be a big turnover year in a lot of ways for this Michigan football program. And for some guy, I've got myself a beer bong. So type chug in the comments. I will take this bad boy down when we get 15 people to type chug, as we are going to reveal the top 25 and the playoff ranking here in just a moment. We got chug coming from Champions Guild, Lou Jai, Stromboli Jones, chug from Podcash, Brian Westcott, and Jack. We should go to subscriber only chat here in a second. We haven't done that in a while. All right, here we go. Oh, geez. Slopped a little bit. Yeah. Oh, yeah, spill it. I feel like we need this is not a long enough thing. I feel like I'm always fighting when that's going to bubble over the top when I'm going it. So a little flopped out the top. So I'm going to be a good coworker and wipe up it off the floor because it slopped on the floor a little bit. Jack, we got to get you on with producer cam a little more. I like producer cam. It's hot in the streets. Yeah. So, whew. All right, I'm back. Let's go for some of the more super chats. Outdoor Montana. Let me get your sticker. Yoder 480. Did we go to subscriber only chat? We got to tell the people about that. So, guys, we are a subscriber only chat, meaning that with 800 or so people watching right now, going to have a lot of other fan bases coming in, I'm sure, not just Michigan fans. So we are going to make it Michigan football fans or people who want to subscribe. So if you want to comment in the live chat, you got to be a subscriber. About the next 30 minutes or so, we will keep that on. Impaler of Horizon says Yoder for Big Ten commish. I'll take it. Big D Retro is another $10. Says proud of them boys. Defense win championships, but Outdoor Montana. Yoder for AD. Let me get you your helmet sticker. Thank you so much to Outdoor Montana, a longtime super chatter supporter of this show. Montana. All right, we got a shootout. All right, last 2 supers. I'm going to show the menu. So Outdoor Montana, let me get you on there. Go to this next one, Jack. Outdoor, I'm putting you dead center on the brim right there. Outdoor Montana. Boom, you were on the helmet. You continue to be on the live screen for, till at least February of 2025 at this point. Tattoo Hick says, go blue. So Tattoo Hick, that's $14 from you. You are immortalized on a hard hat. You will be on the end screen of this show. Tattoo. And we got another $10 super chat coming in from Ted D. 12-3. Let me get this in there. Tattoo Hick. I'll put you right next to first timer. $10 first time on the helmet. Gonna put you right there to Outdoor Montana. There you go. There you go. All right, keep it rolling. Go Tattoo Hick with his first $10 super chat. Now he's in the helmet. Big D Retro. That's now $120 of Big D Retro, right? Am I right? Proud of those boys. Defense wins championships. Big D, we got 12 helmet stickers for you coming. I think we've got 2 on there now. I'm going to give you a third one for every time you hit this $10. So Big D Retro. And it's the 12-3 show. All right, Big D Retro getting yourself another helmet sticker. So is Ted D. Ted D. I don't know if I've seen Ted D. There you go, Big D right there. Another one right there in the front on the brim. Ted D. What does it say? I'm going to read it off here because I'm blind. Love the channel. Excellent work by James and the team. Woo! Just like Ric Flair. How old is Ric Flair, Jack? Look that up. Look up how Ric Flair is. I love those videos he puts out. I think it's just the same one. He's like, to be the man, you got to beat the man. How old? 74. He seems older than that. His woo just doesn't fly like it used to. It used to be like, woo! Now it's like, woo! But Ric Flair calling out Pete Feinbaum for the last couple of weeks and saying some funny stuff like, hey, Pete, I've spent more on alcohol across the globe in the last year than you've made. Kind of funny to say that, but he's a big Michigan guy. He's a big Harbaugh guy. And the woo from Ted D is getting him a helmet sticker. Thank you, so Ted D. Love the audience. Love you guys. Let me get his helmet sticker on there, Jack, and then we will look at this super chat leaderboard. Ted, I put the wrong date on again. Yep. 255s plus another 10, right? So that's 120 for him. Yep. That is that. You can go, Jack, into Studio, into the monetization. It's updated in real time. Yeah. I'm saying in monetization tab in Studio, it lists them in real time. Jeremy and I checked that out last week. You know, where you go look to like reconcile afterwards. So you can't always look there. So let me put this back on as Jack's going to update the leaderboard. Ted D, I got you on there, my man. You are right there on the Michigan logo on this new hard hat. Let me show you these hard hats. It's just like a Michigan football helmet, right? You get stickers. If you're making good plays, we put stickers on our hard hats. It's a hard hat. This is a workman show. We come to work. We wear our hard hats to work, and we show love to the people here at the show. We've got about 7 or 8 of these that guy gave away. I owe a few that we're going to ship out after this hellacious week. Michael Cowley coming in with a $10 super chat. That might be his first time here. That's his first time ever, right? What's the 5 next to Cruiser for show? What's that one mean? First super chat. Michael Cowley, first time super chatter. Let me give you one. Hail, hail to Michael Cowley, first time super chatter. Go Blue! Michael Cowley, first time super chatter. Says defense is amazing. Hopefully we can get that offense going more. Go Blue. Number 1, Michigan versus everybody. Bet. Bet to you, Michael. Mitchell Wren's in the house. Mitch. All right. Mitch says anybody who does a $100 super chat right now, a $100 super chat from one person, Mitchell Wren's Raider Report, Chat Sports legend here, right? Invented the super chat menu here at Chat Sports. He will come on and do a 3-beer boot. It's a German boot, glass boot, 3 beers. He will chug this bad boy to Pound Town. That is his, I guess, offering to us here at the Michigan Football Report. $100 super chat from anybody. Mitchell Renz will come on and do a 3-beer boot as we are waiting for the CFP top 25. 211 likes, Jack. So we do owe a spin at some point, but let me get these this one. So I owe Michael Cowley. Let me get this one. All right. 12-3. Michael Cowley, I got you, my man. Toss up Cruiser for show. Michael, I'm going to put you right here in the brim as well. You are now immortalized. You'll be on our end screen menu this entire offseason, right next there to Ted D. And Cruiser for show, a super chat legend in his own right. Has been around for a long time. Cruiser, thank you so much for coming back to the show, for supporting the show. And undefeated in Bama, make the playoffs. Big Ten championship, 3-peat. Go Blue. There's definitely, Alabama and Texas playing at the beginning of the year was just so poetic justice for the last year of this 4-team playoff that both those teams took the risk to schedule that home and away, 2022, 2023, and they just happened to be in the top 5 teams down the stretch. And the team that won was a team that no one expected to win, or really doesn't get to this point. The team that lost has rolled off 11 straight wins now, I think, as Alabama has, and beat the 2-time defending national championship Georgia. So you have never had in the CFP era this head-to-head thing going on. Same record, conference champions, played early in the season, and it's coming down to maybe the last choice for them with an undefeated right there. It just never has been this potentially controversial, and I'm just incredibly interested to see what the College Football Playoff Committee is going to put on there in this one. So I'm going to get Cruiser, Show, 12-3. $100 gets a boot from Mitchell Wren's Raiders Report, as he is going to go live on his show in about 40 minutes or so. They've got college football NFL. He's doing a watch party. Raiders are off this week, but he's doing the Broncos game. Cruiser for show, got you on the helmet. $2 coming from Tattoo Hick again. Says, I want that shirt. Michigan versus everybody. We don't sell them, but I'll give attribution. All the proceeds are going to the players. It's available on the mden.com. So, Tattoo Hick, get yourself one, my man. Get yourself one and wear all December long. Super Chat leaderboard, right? Winner gets a Blake Corum. The MVP, highest number, gets a Blake Corum signed jersey. We got some guy, Big D Retro, tied at $120. Big D Retro. Steve, our guy Steve, that's all we call him. We're on a first-name basis with Steve now. Ashley Lawson coming in with $20. Ted D with a 20 spot. Cruiser for show. Tattoo Hicks. Outdoor Montana. Michael Cowley. And Cody Monfort coming in with a 5-burger. Right now, some guy and Big D Retro are tied for this Blake Corum signed Michigan football away jersey. So, guys, just takes $1, get you back in the lead. So we'll see how that shakes out. We've hit our numbers, so we're over $4 in Super Chat. So the jersey will go out at some point end of the show. When we end the live stream, which is probably still, at this point, an hour and a half away, I would guess, right, Jack? At this point, we will definitely get to send that out to whoever's our Super Chat MVP. And we got a $20 Super Chat coming in from Roscoe Truman. Roscoe's a newer Super Chatter. We've seen him in the last few weeks. He is coming in hot and heavy with a 20 banger here on the show. Michigan should be ranked number 1. They're probably going to play Florida. Oh, kind of said it twice, so maybe I was like copy and paste that. Michigan should be ranked number 1. They're probably going to play. I think he's meant to play Florida State. I think that's what you should reward the number 1 team with the easiest opponent, in my opinion. So that's what we're going to see. Let me get Roscoe Truman a playoff sticker or a helmet sticker. Roscoe, and it's Truman. 12-3. All right, Jack, do we want... There's Steve with a $200 Super Chat. Steve, a $200 Super Chat. Mitch, get in here. Mitch. 200. Jack, give me one too, because I got to do one with Mitch, right? It's $100 for Mitch. I got to do one too, right? No, Bog, I can't do a boot. Some guy with a 50 burger. Jack Fund, that's going to the Jack Fund, $455. Steve comes in, says, I love the show. James and Jack are legends. Steve, a $200 Super Chat. That's just unbelievable. Mitch, I'm gonna stand next to you and do a beer bong as well, if you don't mind. Here's Mitchell Wren's.
Let's go Blue!
Michigan Football Report guest host here.
Charles Woodson, that's my guy right there.
All right,
That's
Mitch.
the reason why I'm doing it.
Woodson. All right, let me pour this. I am having bad luck with this bad boy.
If you ever need me to hold your hose, I got you.
Yeah. And then I'll put my mouth. Wait, what? Yeah, my mouth on. Yeah, okay, got it. Yeah. Pause. All right, Mitchell Wren's. Ooh, it is. See? Mitch said it's hot back here. That's like it's so hot. I've been chugging beers. All right, Mitch. I'll let you start first. He's got to tell the people what you have. Just give him the mic if you want.
All right, so I got James Yoder's favorite beer, nice little Bud Light milkshake right here. 36 ounces, 3 beers down the hatch.
All right, give me some chugs from Michigan. 3 beers. I'll do a beer bong while he's doing that. Look at this performance by Mitchell Wren's. I'm going to take mine.
Everyone spam chug in the chat. Let's go. Chug, 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 chug.
Chug, chug, chug. Mitchell Wren's. Bang!
Go Blue!
That was for Steve, our guy Steve. We can't figure out how to pronounce his last name. Let's go, Steve. There, Mitch, walk in front of the camera. Appreciate you, Steve. Then we had a 50 burger coming in from some guy as well. Some guy says, make sure that's an extra large for me. All right, let's keep it rolling. What's talking about the jersey? We'll see. Let me get some guy on there as well. And Steve, some guy, 12-3 legend, Steve as well. I'll read his last name, either we are, I messed it up. Some guy, let me get you on there. Put you right on the top. I'm going to put Steve Richard. You know, we haven't even seen John Blaze or Wolverine Alaska today. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Steve, we got a helmet coming out, a sticker.
Mitchell Renz, I don't know if you saw that. Mitchell Renz said if some guy passes Steve, he will do another boot. And also, James, Ashley just said to check your Venmo.
Check your Venmo. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got from Ashley. I haven't been taking a look at Venmo. Woo! Can we put the comment on screen or no? No? Okay, so, yep, all right. So, Ashley, I see it. Thank you so much, Jackson. Get it on screen. Where are we at here, Jack? Are we getting the numbers yet? Can you put the comment or just the amount? Got it. Perfect. I sent it to you there. Ashley Lawson with a super chat, Jack. We'll get it on screen there. She says, we better be number one. That is all. She tossed up the 100 emoji, the go blue. Ashley Lawson, another super chat. We'll toss another 20 there on her name. I'm 30 there. Should be up to 50 for today's show. Ashley, you're the best. You really are. Thank you so much for the contributions. Really appreciate that. And here we go. We've got it on screen here. Venmo coming in from Ashley Lawson. $30 Venmo. If you guys want Venmo, we always accept that. If you don't want a super chat, it is at James-Yoder-1. You could screenshot that or take a picture of it and put it on Venmo, and we will get it on screen. Jack, I think we're getting close here. They just knocked on the door. They said, horns up, horns up. Who will Michigan play? Ashley Lawson, $30 super chat. Go blue. And we got it, folks. Here we go. We just got the envelope. Michigan is number one in the college football playoff. I got to put this tweet out, Jack. Type 1 in the comments. Type 1 in the live chat. Michigan is number one in the college football playoff top 25 official. They just handed us the envelope. I've got a tweet that's got to go out right now. It's so beautiful. Type 1, spam 1 in the live chat. I see you, Green Arrow. I see you, some guy. I see you, Ashley Lawson. Give me the ones. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Guys, I just tweeted this out. I'm going to put it in the live chat. I'm going to pin it to my profile. And I'm going to tell you guys what it says. Okay? 154 seasons of college football. This is the 154th season of college football. Okay? Every moment of those 154 seasons, every moment, every play, every game, every win across the entire landscape has led to one thing, has led to today. Every moment has led to this moment. Michigan is ranked number one in college football. I'm going to put that on the live chat. Washington now number 2. So I think we knew that. There was maybe some talk. Maybe Michigan will be number 2, Washington will be number 1. And this is where it's going to get crazy, Jack.
This is where
it's going to get crazy.
This next one's huge because I think if Florida State stays in, they're at 3. That's my prediction.
Okay.
So if we want to play Florida State, they would have to be at 4, but I don't see that happening if they make it in.
Here, guys, go retweet this. I'll give shout-outs to anybody who retweets or likes or replies to that tweet. I just put it out there. Every moment of 154 seasons of college football, every play, every game, every win has led to one thing. Michigan football is ranked number 1 for the first time in 25 years, 11 months, almost to the day. Texas ranked number 3. It's going to be Washington against Texas in the 2-3, almost assuredly in the Sugar Bowl. Washington, Texas. So that was just Alabama and Florida State. Who's it going to be? Alabama and Florida State. Who is it going to be? Give me an A or an F. Give me an A or an F in the chat. Who is it going to be? Alabama or Florida State? Texas and Washington will play each other. Who will be number 4, Alabama or Florida State? Let me know what you guys are thinking. The live poll said Florida State, 36%. This is a monumental vote here. This is a monumental vote here. Give me an A, give me an F. Give me an A, give me an F. Give me an A or an F in the live chat. Michigan 1, Washington 2, Texas is 3. Give me an A or an F. Who is it going to be? Who is it going to be? They're probably going to bump down to 5 or 6, aren't they? They are. Alabama and Florida State. I see Susan Gort saying F, Brian saying F, Mark saying A. The Squid give me an F in the live chat. Got to finish. For some reason, I have a little sip of beer here. Alabama or Florida State. Who will Michigan play? Let's light up. Let's see if we can get to 100 comments in the next minute. We're at 60 chat right now. 60 chats in the last 60 seconds in the next 60. Let's get it up to 100. We are at 233 likes, 750 people for watching. A or F? I see you, Samuel. Outdoor Montana, Michigan man, Becky and Chad, Mark Eastman, Mark Macaluso. Who is going to be number 4? Who is going to be number 5? Georgia coming in at number 6. Georgia's coming in at number 6. Okay. The Georgia Bulldogs are ranked number 6. They're going 1, 2, 3, and the committee knocking on the door. They're going to hand us an envelope. Jack opened it up, number 6. All right. Georgia's number 6. So they're probably going to jump back to number 4 here, right? They're probably going to go back to number 4. They're probably going to hand us the 4 envelope as well. 1, 2, and 3, Michigan, Washington, Texas. 800 people watching live. Like the video. Like the video. Like the video. Alabama's number 4. It's Alabama. Alabama, Michigan. Michigan, Alabama. That will be your college football playoff matchup. The Wolverines are going to play the SEC champs. Your college football playoff. Michigan 1, Alabama 4 versus Washington and Texas. Florida State gets snubbed. They are number 5. Georgia drops them 1 down to 6. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? What's the score going to be this game? What do you guys think? Light up the comments right now. Michigan will face Alabama in the college football playoff national championship semifinals. Likely in the Rose Bowl. We'll find out. Yes, it's confirmed out in the Rose Bowl, Jack. It's confirmed. It's in the Rose Bowl. Michigan versus Alabama on the other side of the All-State Sugar Bowl. Washington against Texas. That is your college football playoff. We gotta get the Alabama logo in there. Yeah. Where's the production team at? There we go. Production team a little slow over there, I guess, but that's okay. Yeah. Jack's like, where's my producers at? Get me this graphic. Okay, Alabama number 4. I don't like it, Jack. I think that they're being rewarded for playing in the SEC and on a winning streak, and Florida State is getting robbed, frankly. AOLB, Florida State getting robbed. I agree with that. Michigan, Alabama, college football playoff. That's the game. That's the Rose Bowl. It's going to be at 5 o'clock Eastern, the early game. I know people say, well, that's a better game than Washington, Texas. The Rose Bowl is not going to change. They want to play their game at 2 p.m. Pacific like it's always been played. This game, 5 o'clock Eastern, so it will be played at 5 o'clock Eastern. It will be the first of the 2 games. When we see the point spread, Jack, we should definitely get that up on there. Let's see. Point spread. Let's see. I'm going to ask the production team. Let us know if you guys see a point spread for this game, Michigan against Alabama. I don't know. I think Michigan can beat Alabama. I think Michigan should beat Alabama. It's not the toughest. It's the second toughest of the 3 matchups in the CFP. Clearly, Georgia 2021 was the toughest. That was the first of 2 national titles for that team. A 3-year streak for Georgia, right? Frankly, that we haven't seen in college football since maybe USC went for kind of quasi 3 straight in the 2005 season that ended up in a loss to Texas. But nevertheless, their first one was a split national title in itself in 2003 with LSU. So Michigan will play Alabama. People saying Michigan should be pissed. Yeah, I mean, Michigan should be pissed. They've got as the number 4 seed, Alabama, the number 4 seed, is the tougher game than Washington at the 2 seed does. So I get that. Spreads will come in. We'll have a full recap. So stick with us. We're going to do a full Michigan-Alabama preview. We're going to do probably our overreaction Sunday, but we're also going to take your questions here on the show. I'm going to give some shout-outs here. Sam Strupa, what up, Sam? Michigan fans, keep your head up. Michigan can beat Alabama. They can. This Michigan team can keep Alabama. Who you got in this game? Who is going to win this game? Steve coming up with a $10 super chat. Florida State will hang a banner. National champions 2023. I don't disagree, just like Central Florida did a few years ago, 2017 or so. They hung the banner, national champions. He says, bet. That is Steve coming in and getting another sticker. We owe him about 10 stickers or so, but I'm going to give him another one for each individual super chat. 12-3. Steve, you got yourself another helmet sticker, and we'll add a bunch more on there after the show. But I've always thought that it's really tough viewing for people to just watch me put a bunch of stickers, so we do one every time. You're up there, right there in the top, Steve. Boom, right next to the Michigan football block maze, block M. Type M, type A. Who will win this matchup? I would bet Michigan's about, I would say Michigan's going to be a 4.5-point spread. I think Michigan's going to be a 4.5-point spread is what I would predict. I'm going to look out there, see if there's anything out there right now, Brett, as we're waiting for the production team to get us some spreads. Keep it rolling here. He says, James, strike three, says, hey, James, I like this one. I guess there's only one thing left to do. Win the whole fucking thing. And sit there for a second. Say, yeah. Yeah. John Blaze. $200 super chat from John Blaze. What up, John Blaze? I don't think he knows about the award. I don't think he knows about the thing. He knows. John, the winner of today's MVP, the highest super chat, which I think you are now, is a Blake Corum signed jersey. So that is coming in the hopper potentially. Number one, baby. We finally did it. I have gotten shit from coworkers for years. It's been a long time coming. I'm happy for our players and team. Natty or bust. Number one, baby. Number one. Right here. Number one. For a long time coming. Natty or bust. Houston or bust. Now we have to play Alabama and prove this is our year. Keep up the good work, and let's get this W. It was Bosa. Now it's beat Bama. Go blue. He's a real one. Hashtag bad. John, let me get you a sticker, one of 20 that we're going to owe you here. And Jack will update the oh, not the leader of the pack. Who is? Oh, yeah, Steve. Yeah, I forgot. I mean, I didn't forget about him, but I guess I just didn't do the math in my head. I'm going to put them next to each other here in the helmet. So, John, we got you in the helmet again. Of course, you got in the helmet about 500 times. When you get that updated, Jack, toss up there. No pressure, anybody. Super chat what you can. We do want to give away and show some love as Michigan's going to the college football playoff. Big Ten champions, third straight year. Super chat man. Steve's way up there. I forgot. Yeah, I mean, you're right. Yeah, so he put in this 200 for me and Mitch. That's where I was kind of, I don't say forgetting, but I was certainly not thinking of it for a second because it racked my brain when I had to do a beer bong, and of course watch Mitch coming hot with the boot is what Mitch had to do. So I'm going to take a look at the odds again and see if we've got point spreads. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Okay. So Michigan and Alabama are a pick 'em. It's a pick 'em. Let's see. I'm going to check one more source. So the initial feedback is it's a pick 'em. And nobody has them yet. So that's surprising. I thought Michigan would be about a 3 or 4 point favorite. I thought Michigan would be a 3.5 point, 4 point favorite. It's pick 'em. Texas is a 2 point favorite of Washington. A 2 point favorite over Washington. As we owe John Blaze a beer bong too, right? So we do owe him that. So 1 point, we'll get to that. Don't want to get so Brian's saying DraftKings is saying Michigan is a 2.5 favorite. So we're pulling this from social media as of now of some sportsbooks putting it out there. I'm going to tell the team what we got. Zeno the Man says 35-24 Michigan. Some guy with a $30 super chat. Boom! Some guy coming in hot. Does that mean you have to take a shot of tequila too? I don't know, Jim. I don't know. I would do that, Jack, if you want a beer bong and a shot of tequila. Some guy. Michigan is going to beat Bama. Going to be a close game, 35-27. Some guy getting on the helmet again. Update it again, Jack. Update it again. Some guy with a $30 super chat. All right, so here's the matchup. It is 5 o'clock Eastern. It is Michigan versus Alabama. Jack, that should be 9-0 and 10-0 for those records because that's the records in their leagues, not 8-0. Right? They just won their bowl games, their conference championship games yesterday. We'll get to it. We got the production team working on the spot with all these different scenarios. We're going to do our Michigan-Alabama preview in here in a little bit, but I did want to do a round of questions. So if you guys want to get on the show, we got the super chats. So super chats that are still relevant against what we've got going on here with Michigan playing Alabama. We'll put those up on the show for a mailbag cut that we'll put out on the channel Monday or Tuesday. And then we're going to do our Michigan-Alabama college football playoff Rose Bowl preview. I can't wait to break down this game. I can't wait to go to this game. I think Michigan should have the advantage of fans being out there. Alabama, they're having kids with their sisters. They're not going out to the Rose Bowl for a game. Let's just call it what it is. Nevertheless, Michigan 13-0, Alabama 12-1. Their only loss being to number 3 seed Texas. Outdoor Montana with a $2 super chat. He says, the QB problem has to be the reason. That's for Florida State. Yeah, I would agree with that. That's what they're saying. That's what the committee is going to come out and say. They're going to say, we didn't think that Florida State team is the same team that won those first 10, 11 games with Jordan Travis, beat LSU, right? Beat Florida, beat two SEC teams, and went undefeated in the ACC, 13-0. That's what they're going to say. And frankly, at this point, I guess it is what it is. House of Lion, $20 super chat from House of Lion. Boom, my man, I'm getting you another helmet sticker. You're immortalized. Continue to immortalize. You're already on there. House of Lion with a $20 super chat. I'm going to go House of Lion. Okay, so let's change that to 2.5 then, Jack, for our preview. Over under. Let's see. I'm going to talk to the production team, see if we've got one, and if not, we will roll without it. All right, some guy and House of Lions. I've got you, House of Lion, not Lions, Lion. Boom. Got you in the helmet. FSU got hosed, Yoder. I agree, House of Lion. But in this world of college football super conferences, the Big Ten, the SEC champ, I think we may have been kidding ourselves. The Big Ten and the SEC champ, we're just going to get in because those two conferences run college football. The Michigan-Alabama over-under is 45.5. By the way, Texas is favored by 4.5 points over Washington. The over-under in that game is 63.5. How about some guy coming with another $10 or $30 super chat, I should say. He says Michigan is going to beat Bama. Then it's going to be a close game. 35-27. Did I get some guys? Yeah, I just put one on for his helmet. So we owe him 3 for this one. 3 helmet stickers. I think Michigan can beat Bama. Should beat Bama. The one pause I have is Michigan has kind of reversed in the last few years what used to hurt them, right, from opposing offenses. Back in the day, under Lloyd Carr, the first few years of Jim Harbaugh, even before Lloyd Carr, Michigan would have been great against a team against Alabama that wants to run the football, that has a quarterback that can run, but isn't necessarily, a run plus pass guy at the highest level. I think Michigan is really built to beat Ohio State over the last 3 years. That's no surprise to anybody. That's why I think they would have matched up better against Washington, better against Texas with pass-first offenses. What's Alabama's offense going to look like against Michigan? I actually don't know. I can't tell you the answer, right? If it's Jalen Milroe throwing the ball a ton, Michigan could probably stop that. But they've got a good running game at Alabama. But Milroe himself, being a big part of the running game, has changed this offense and what we can expect from this offense significantly over the past 6 weeks. And Alabama's on a big-time winning streak. So I think that certainly Michigan can beat Alabama, but they have got to approach this game like it is their Super Bowl, like this is the national title game. Because I actually think you're winning against Alabama, you got a better chance to beat the other two teams, right? Alabama is Alabama. They are the greatest program in college football history. This run of 15 seasons is the greatest run anyone's had in college football history. And funny enough, Jack, 15 straight seasons, 2008, 2022, 15 straight seasons, Alabama was ranked number 1 at some point in the season, right? 15 straight years, except this year. They have not been ranked number 1 this year. It would be poetic justice for Alabama to, beat Michigan and then go win the national title and get number 1 to continue that going to 16 straight years. We'll see if it happens. I don't know. I was at the game in 2019, right, January 1st of 2020, Michigan, Alabama, in the Capital One Bowl in Orlando. Michigan probably could have won, right? Mac Jones was the quarterback. Tua didn't play because he was getting ready for he was injured, etc. But I thought Michigan could have won that game. So they've had opportunities against Alabama or teams like that. But nevertheless, it is Alabama. It is Nick Saban. I think this is a Saban type of team that he likes and wants to coach. It's not a high-power offense. It's not a high-flying team. They don't have NFL wide receivers and running backs all over the team. It's kind of like an Iowa with a better coach and a better game plan in a lot of ways. I don't know. And a quarterback that can run the ball. So there it is. Michigan is a 2.5-point favorite. Over-under is 45.5. Michigan going to the Rose Bowl against Alabama. So, Jack, where do we want to take this? We want to do a live Q&A now? Audience? All right. Let's do a live audience mailbag. So if you guys want, use hashtag Michigan. I'll show you how to do it live in the live chat. Michigan, and I'll just type. Oh, yeah, that's right. Hello. Yep. Okay. Okay. Cool. Jack, I think we're going to hold Overreaction Sunday. We'll just make that Overreaction Monday. I think we'll Overreaction Monday. So I think we wait. Yeah. I think we wait. Jack, bring me the beer and then go to the bathroom. I'll do this one for John Blaze. As we're waiting for Jack to take a quick bathroom break, I've got this. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, can you get him to highlight cut the preview though? Okay, cool. So bear with us. We're going to do a live mailbag, and then we're going to do our Michigan Alabama preview. So we still got about an hour of show left to go. And then we'll put out Overreaction Sunday, a staple of the show. We're just going to do Overreaction Monday because I don't want to bombard you guys with too much shows, too much content. We're going to put our Michigan Alabama preview out here in the live show, and then we're going to publish it probably later today at this point is what I would guess. Maybe right away, maybe later today. We'll have to wait and see. So let's take a look at the live chat. Take a look at the live chat. As we have now 400 people watching. Like the video if you can. We owe you guys a wheel spin. We're 5 away from 2 wheel spins. So as Jack is going to do a quick break, I am going to do a quick 4th or 3rd beer bong. By the way, have my son's 7th birthday party in about 3 hours. So can't get too... There she is. There she blows. Michigan, Alabama. I think this is from brands and intrigue. This is the best CFP of the 10-year run of the 4-team college football playoff. In my opinion, this is the best one. Because we get 4 brands that have a history in college football. Washington being the smallest of all those, but they're number 2. And we get Michigan versus Alabama, Big Ten, SEC, the 2 powers of college football, those 2 conferences. And right now, those 2 brands are leading those conferences along with Georgia and Ohio State. And then you get Texas, who's moving to the SEC now, who has been maybe underperforming. Now are they officially back? Is Texas back? We will see. I don't know. I'm going to give a few shout-outs here. So Patty Grimes, use hashtag Michigan together. I see that one, but Jack's not going to see the top of his queue when he gets back in a moment unless it's like together. So we have this, it pushed to the top of his feed. So she says there'll be more Michigan fans at the Rose Bowl than Alabama fans. I think it's going to be 70% Michigan for sure. I think it is. Keep the chats coming in. Where did the Suck Guys place? Not in the top 6. Ohio State was not in the top 6. Michigan got robbed. Did Michigan get robbed by not facing either Texas or Florida State, having to face the SEC champion? Give me a Y or an N, yes or no. Massacre Nation says, anybody with common sense know we finna get blown out by Bama? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. What do we think, Jack? Let's do this. So I'm kind of thinking, I don't think we have to highlight cut the live, the preview, because just from a timing perspective, I don't think that's gonna make that much of a difference because we'll probably have to be on live shortly after because I probably have to cut at 12:30 the latest. So yeah, we could probably do it right afterwards if we can do it and then go from there. Yeah. Yeah. I was talking about when publishing it. Highlight it. Cool. All right. Jack will be back. Use hashtag Michigan or Super Chat to get your question answered. Original Mike says Michigan doesn't care who they play. We've got A-Train says Florida State got robbed. I kind of agree with that. Would you let Sainristil spy the Alabama quarterback or someone else? I like that question from Bill Graves. Hashtag Michigan as well. Yep, he sure did. I really like that question. We'll answer it here on the mailbag. Coming up here in just a moment. Let me recalibrate myself, Jack, get to the mailbag, and we will continue on down the train. So I'll put this cut out, dude. We're going to take questions, about 10 or so questions right now. Then we're going to go to the Michigan-Alabama preview. Unless you want to do the preview now, it's up to you, Jack. What do you want to do? I say we do the mailbag. Yeah, let's do mailbag. So use hashtag Michigan or Super Chat. We're going to take about 15 minutes of your question. It is the Michigan Football Report by Chat Sports. Jack, when you are ready for that mailbag, you give me that big happy thumbs up, and we will push it. Ready? All right, Michigan Football Report by Chat Sports. Audience live mailbag coming up right now. It's going to be Michigan, Alabama in the college football playoff. Rose Bowl, 5 p.m. Eastern, just as the sun comes down in the second half over those mountains in Pasadena, California. Michigan and Alabama, the final year of the 4-team CFP. It's kind of poetic, but Michigan probably get the toughest matchup they could have gotten, as Alabama is on a big-time winning streak ever since they lost to Texas the second week of the season. Michigan, though, is favored by 2.5 points. It's a low over and under. These are not high-power offenses. Think the other game, Texas-Washington, that's a 63.5 point, right? 63.5 point over-under. This one, 45.5. Michigan definitely needs to bring their A game. This can't be like 2021 where maybe they didn't have a chance against Georgia, or 2022, which I think, and I think a lot of people think, that Michigan overlooked that TCU team and got down early and kept getting down on from there, end up losing the game 51-45. Let's get into the questions. Bill Graves with the first question. Use hashtag Michigan. You will get on the show if you're watching live. If you're watching after the fact, we're going to put this out on Monday or Tuesday on the channel. Says, would you let Mike Sainristil, the Big Ten title game MVP, spy the Alabama quarterback Jalen Milroe or someone else? It's a good question. Off just the top of my head, I think it's one of the better options that Michigan has. I think against Ohio State, I thought Mikey Sainristil, he should be the guy to cloud Cade Stover, like the tight end, the second best option for Ohio State quarterback Kyle McCord. But in this case, probably Mike Sainristil, but I also think Brad Moore could be a really good option as well. I think Brad Moore, if he stays next year, he could actually switch positions and end up being Michigan's new Mike Sainristil, like that nickel cornerback. They also can play safety or move around, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it'd be Mike Sainristil, maybe Rod Moore. A good question coming from Bill Graves. And we have a ton of analysis. This is our instant reaction mailbag. We have a ton of analysis of this game as we go on through the month of December. Will Michigan win the national title? If you're a fan of an opposing team, just shut off this video. If you're a fan of Michigan, join me and just comment yes. Give me a Y for Yoder for yes. I can't wait for the Rose Bowl. Michigan, Alabama. Let's go, baby. I'm just getting pumped, Jack. I'm getting pumped. I want to headbutt this helmet. Let's go. All right. Count me yes. Michigan, Alabama. The Wolverines a 2.5 point favorite in the college football playoff semifinal in the Rose Bowl. Josh Sherwood, my man, longtime viewer, longtime contributor to the show. One more year fun. Bring back JJ and the Don. I mean, that's what it's got to be focused on. And maybe even Zach Zinter, right? Last year it worked for Zinter and Trevor Keegan and Blake Corum, right? Blake Corum coming off an injury, just like Zach Zinter is. Zinter doesn't want to, lose his draft status, which is the second-round pick probably, because of this injury. He comes back next year, right? Get some insurance, get himself $500K. I would love it. Zinter, the Don, right? Roman Wilson could come back as well. There's a lot of guys, of course. Junior Colson, JJ McCarthy, et cetera, et cetera. So I would love to see it. Those have got to be the focus. Now, if Michigan does not, get a return from JJ McCarthy, it's going to be really strange. We'll talk about it here in a few minutes about the portal and the transfer portal options and the timing of JJ McCarthy's potential announcement. Kevin Miles coming in with the chat. He says, do you think the long break until the game will hurt Michigan? Probably. Since Jim Harbaugh's first season, 2015, against Florida, I think the final score was 41-10. They have just looked lackluster in every single bowl game they've been in, right? They were down against Florida State in 2016. They looked like junk against South Carolina in 2017, I think it was. 2018, they didn't even show up against Florida. 2019, they were probably overmatched against Alabama. And then the last 2 years in the college football playoff, it was not good enough to beat Georgia, didn't come prepared against TCU. I think Michigan and Jim Harbaugh have a lot of questions to answer in this game. You beat Alabama. You erase a lot of the naysayers, the doubters, just like you did against Ohio State, just like you did against Penn State. Now you've got to do it against a team from another conference, and that is Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Guys, we are presented by Prize Picks. I've got some Prize Picks going on for college or NFL Sunday. Now, if you're watching this later in the week, these were my picks for Sunday. So if I miss them, make sure to roast me. But why I love Prize Picks, it's you versus the numbers. You can mix and match sports. You can go NBA, NFL, college football, NHL, et cetera, et cetera. All you got to do is pick more or less on the stats they put in front of you for players that you want to make predictions for. They've got a reboot policy, so if a player gets injured in the first half of a game, doesn't come back in the second half, he's taken out of your entry. The entry lives on at Prize Picks. Here are my picks for NFL Sunday. I got Russell Wilson. I'm going more than 224.5 passing yards. Coleridge Stroud more because this team kind of, they're okay, but he passed a lot. I don't root for him, but I'm rooting for him to go more today, 264.5 yards. And then I think Brock Purdy might throw himself an interception against that Eagles defense. big-time matchup, the matchup maybe of the year in the NFL this afternoon. 49ers versus the Eagles. If you watch this later in the game, did Brock Purdy throw an interception? Was he big beep Brock or not? Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy. You just pick 2+ players, all the way up to 6. If you pick 6 picks and you get them all right, 25 times your money just by picking more or less on the stats that they put in front of you. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use code CLNS for up to $100 first deposit match. Toss that in the live chat when you get a chance, Jack. prizepicks.com/CLNS. If you're watching live, click it in the live chat. Support the show. If you're watching on demand on Tuesday, make sure you go down in the comments and description of this video. Get going with Prize Picks and get going with chatsports.com, prizepicks.com/CLNS. John M.F. Blaze. Is this the same one? It was another one. Another $200 super chat from John Blaze. What are we doing, John? What are we doing? We're going to Houston together. John Blaze, that's a second $200 super chat. We got the leaderboard updated. We'll update that in a second. He says, FSU is screwed. Oh, my gosh. Who are the players that Bama look up for? Jack, we've got that, right? We've got our preview stuff there. So let's just walk through the offensive players because defense, it's plug and play for Alabama, right? This is a strong Alabama defense, but they got pushed around against Texas, okay? They got moved in the fourth quarter against Texas. I think Michigan can do the same. But over the last 6 weeks, it's all started with this guy here. It's Jalen Milroe, right? He did not start the season. He was not the guy, or he got benched after one game, right? That's what it was. And they brought in the transfer from Notre Dame. But Jalen Milroe, who to me looked no better last year than Alex Orji, right? He's a big, big body who could run a lot, maybe throw once in a while. His stats have really turned around. 65.5 completion percentage, 23 touchdowns. So more touchdowns, considerably more now than JJ McCarthy. Around the same passing yards as JJ McCarthy. Michigan needs to spy him, and they need to force him to make mistakes. He's thrown 6 picks, which is not a ton, but at least he does make some mistakes. Get that defensive line pressure on him. Michigan can shut down, which is emerging. Frankly, I think he can make a good case for the Heisman at this point. He's not going to win it, but I think he could make a good case for the Heisman. Now on the side of the running back, Jace McClellan, big-time recruit a few years ago. All right, 803 yards in the year, 6 touchdowns. He is nowhere in the stratosphere of someone like a Blake Corum at this point. But when has Alabama ever had a running game that is not, formidable, something that you don't want to play? That's not great. I think Alabama's running game has always been awesome, and Jace McClellan is certainly continuing on there. Now, over the last few games, he had 66 yards against Auburn. He's only had 200-yard games this year. That was against Tennessee at home on October 21st, and then he had 100 yards in maybe their biggest game prior to Georgia, 17 carries, 105 yards against Ole Miss on September 23rd. So keep an eye out for him. Him and Milroe make a nice little read option combo. The wide receivers, Jermaine Burton, Isaiah Bond, and Armari. I can't remember how to pronounce his last name. What do you think, Jack? Knee-block, yeah. I've heard him say it. Yeah, I know. So they're good, but this isn't the Alabama team of years past. So the teams from Alabama that went on the run in the post-losing to Auburn in 2013 era, right? You kind of had those 2 quarterbacks, Jacob Coker, et cetera. Then it was 2016, you had Jalen Hurts, right? He's starting for the best team in the NFL right now. Then you had Tua, starting for one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the AFC right now. Then you had Mac Jones, starting quarterback for the New England Patriots right now. That run of 6 years or so changed what we think Alabama football was. This team, in my opinion, goes back to what Alabama football was 2007 when he took over the job to 2014-15 kind of time frame. I think that's frankly what it was. That 2015 team that won the national title, right? They lost to Ohio State in 2014. They came back in 2015, beat Deshaun Watson, beat Clemson in the national title game with a no-name quarterback, a Heisman Trophy winner, Derrick Henry. Although they don't have Derrick Henry on this team, that's what this team reminds me of. McCarthy's dad. Is that JJ McCarthy's dad? Whoa, what kind of photo is that, Jack? A little risque there. Talk to me about the transfer portal. Who are we going after? We saw this question earlier. I flagged this for Jack. We had these built for a show later in the week. So let's talk transfer portal right now, right? We know who Michigan's playing. They're playing Alabama. Let's talk transfer portal. If JJ leaves for the NFL, right, we got to get a transfer portal quarterback. You've got to get the highest ranked transfer portal quarterback that you can get. People have been saying to me on Twitter all the time, in the comments on YouTube all the time, I'm kind of perplexed by it. What about Alex Orji? Alex Orji looks good. Alex Orji. Alex Orji, in my opinion, is not a quarterback for Michigan. Just pushed across his ad across for Michigan in 2024 or 2025. If his role is being what he's become right now, which is kind of a wildcat quarterback, right? Inside the 5-yard line guy every once in a while, mix it up. He is not a passer that can be a starting quarterback. I don't think Jaden Denegal is as well. So Michigan's replacement for JJ McCarthy, in my opinion, is not on this roster. We'll go through some candidates here for Michigan's transfer quarterbacks, but did want to ask you guys to subscribe as we were at 29,560 subscribers here in the Michigan Football Report, youtube.com/Michigan TV. Let's get to 30,000 subscribers ASAP. Keep supporting the show. Let's get all kinds of videos in the month of December. It's going to be one of the funnest months you're ever going to have as a Michigan football fan, leading up to what I think will be January 8th, Michigan versus either Washington or Texas, national championship game, Houston or bust. Top transfer quarterbacks that Michigan can, should, and I think hopefully will, at least a few of them, pursue. Cameron Ward. He's been out there for a while. Washington State, they're lost their coach, right? And he's going to Michigan State. And he wants to get out. He wants to go do Washington State did not lose their coach. Oregon State lost their coach. But nevertheless, Cam Ward has been a hell of a player. How about Will Howard? He beat TCU last year. He is an absolute baller. He just, nothing hurts, nothing, phases Will Howard. I would love to have Will Howard at Michigan. He might think he's going to lose his starting job. They've got a top 100 recruited Kansas State quarterback who's going into his third year, Avery Johnson, not the basketball player, but nevertheless, Will Howard would be somebody I would absolutely love to come to Michigan. How about Riley Leonard? Same class as JJ McCarthy. He's going to transfer, take a look around. DJ Ungalungale, maybe. We'll see. He was a 5-star quarterback, Clemson, Oregon State. They lost their coach, of course, is to Michigan State. And then Dante Moore, top 5 player in the 2023 recruiting class out of Detroit. Michigan offered him the summer after his 7th grade year. He decided to go to Oregon. Then he was at UCLA on signing day. Now, after less than a year on campus at UCLA, he is in the transfer portal. His dad has said in the last couple of days that Michigan is a school that he loves and is right up there. I think it might come down to Michigan, Oregon, maybe an SEC school for Dante Moore. Would love to get him if J.J. McCarthy decides to go pro. Because remember, we've also got Jaden Davis, who will be a true freshman. Don't want to start him as a true freshman, but be a nice 1-year stopgap to have somebody else. Dante Moore might be 2 years, and then have Jaden Davis start as a 2nd or 3rd year player. A couple other players in the transfer portal that Michigan could look at, but I don't know if these guys are really going to move the needle. I don't think they're championship quarterbacks. Tyler Van Dyke at Miami. He got over his Josh Gaddis experiment from 2022. Looked a little bit better this year. Then he got hurt. He is transferring. And then Will Rogers looked phenomenal. Go back and look at Will Rogers' numbers in 2021 and 2022 under Mike Leach. Leach passed away in the offseason. Their offense never looked the same this year. Now Will Rogers is looking for one last chance to prove he's an NFL-level quarterback going into the 2024 season. But JJ's timing is the key here. McCarthy has got to at least let Michigan know, and maybe let the public know, if he is heavily leaning one way. If JJ knows, no matter what, I am going pro, I think it'd be the best interest of everyone. Maybe not himself. It won't be in his best interest, but it won't be in his worst interest, though. Let Michigan know. Put them in a position, because Michigan only has from December 3rd to January 2nd, this transfer portal window is open. If you don't sign, you got to stick in there, wait until April for the next transfer portal. So this quarterback potentially that Michigan brings in would miss spring practice, which I think would be a big disadvantage for Michigan long term. So if JJ knows he's going, announce now. If he doesn't know he's going 50-50, let Michigan know so they can adequately tell these transfer quarterbacks, maybe they have to risk it. We might have to sit for a year. Dante Moore might be willing to do that. Of course, Riley Leonard and DJU and these other guys would not. So it kind of depends on where Michigan's going to let things shake out, with the next quarterback, depending on what J.J. McCarthy is going to do and when he's going to let Michigan or the NFL know his future. Where will J.J. play in 2024? Let me know either in the live chat or down in the comments, Michigan or the NFL. I want to know from you guys. I'm looking at the live chat. I see you guys. I see you, A. Schraub. John Blaze is building a house in the Michigan helmets. That's absolutely right. We should update that super chat leaderboard too. I'm sure John Blaze is right up the top with Steve Richard, with our guy as well, Big D, on there. Type M, type N. Let me know where JJ McCarthy will play in the future in 2024. Speaking of Steve, our guy Steve coming in with the hashtag Michigan Who will be the MVP of Alabama versus Michigan? Let's see. Let's forecast forward. Yodestradamus. Let's kind of think. I'm going to go JJ McCarthy. I'm going to go JJ McCarthy. He's going to be the MVP for Michigan. I know he has it in him. I know he can make the passes. I know Michigan's playbook has it. And I know Jim Harbaugh wants to win this game. So I don't think this is a game against Alabama and Michigan is going to come in unprepared. I think they're going to put something together to let JJ McCarthy loosen up this Alabama defense downfield. Maybe Blake Corum gets the touchdowns to the 5-yard line, etc. I think it's going to be JJ McCarthy is my pick. If it's not McCarthy, how about Mike Sainristil? MVP of the Big Ten Championship game. Been making plays every single game for this program. One of the great Wolverines of all time. JJ, if it's an offensive performance, if it's a better defensive performance, give me some Mikey Sainristil. Some guy, he sent a $30 super chat. He's gone. This Michigan's going to beat Bama. Going to be a close game, 35-27. Both defenses, yes, in the SEC title game, looked really good. The offense for both teams kind of stunk at times. The first half, they were okay. The second half, they really stunk in a lot of ways. So I kind of approach this the same as the Ohio State game for Michigan. I think Alabama's defense is going to be strong. Michigan's defense is going to be strong. That game was 30-24. If anyone gets over 30 points this game, I think they're going to win. I don't see any scenario where it's like 45-42 or some of these crazy scores, 51-45 that we saw last year from Michigan TCU. So I like the score prediction, 35-27. I would go right now. This is an early one. I'm just going to make a prediction right now. I'm going to go 24-17 Michigan is my early score prediction. Dan from the UP coming in with a question. He says, other than QB, what are positions of need in the transfer portal? Jack, we've got that graphic of my positions of need for our show next week, right? Let's toss that up. Good question. Timely question. Transfer portal gets going tomorrow, baby. It's going to be transfer portal palooza. I can't wait. Here's the positions, right? Wide receiver. No way. This is outside of JJ McCarthy, right? If McCarthy, it's just a one person. If McCarthy leaves, you need one. It's just very simple. Outside JJ McCarthy, wide receiver. Like we see a Samaj Morgan. Tyler Morris, right? Darius Clemens is in there. But if Roman Wilson goes pro, he could come back, but I think he's gone. Cornelius Johnson has to go. What does Michigan's wide receiver group look like with or without J.J. McCarthy next year? I think that's one they've got to focus on. Linebacker. Junior Colson going pro? Maybe. Michael Barrett's gone, so you're losing one. Ernest Housen then moves into a starting role. I'm just not convinced Jimmy Rolder or anybody else below him has made enough of an impact this year to confidently think that Michigan has a strong two deep next year. And a player like Housen, star as a freshman in Nebraska, his first year as a true freshman, coming over to Michigan, that could be somebody to pursue, or a fourth or fifth year guy from another school who just wants to play for a big-time championship-winning program like Michigan. Offensive line, okay, Zach Sinter, Trevor Keegan, could they come back, etc. But Michigan brought in 3 transfers this year. They should continue on that offensive line pipeline. Running back, Corum is going to leave. The Don could leave. Cole Cabana, we'll see what we get out of him. Benjamin Hall did nothing this year. I don't know if Khalil Mullings is a championship running back now. There is a running back for Florida, Travis Etienne's little brother, that a lot of people rumoring out there could be favoring Michigan. And then cornerback. You should get Josh Wallace back next year. You should get Will Johnson back next year. I think Michigan needs to continue to improve that depth. Like we saw Jaden McBurrows yesterday, but someone else, even if he's not a starter, at cornerback could be a good move for Michigan. Guys, Michigan is in the college football playoff. Michigan's won the Big Ten championship again for the 3rd straight year, and they beat Ohio State again for the 3rd straight year. Give me a go blue in the comments. Just do it in the live chat, in the comments. Go blue. Michigan, Alabama, Rose Bowl. And ooh, look at that. I can see my eyes. Ooh, see me? Rose Bowl coming up on January 1st in Pasadena. Should be an absolutely glorious affair to be at or to watch on TV. My guy, Bill Graves, coming in with that hashtag Michigan. Do you think JJ is waiting for Harbaugh's NFL decision? I don't want to discredit that. And I think it would be so disingenuous and disheartening for those two's relationship, which has gone back now 5 years and 4.5 since JJ committed to Michigan in May 11th, 2019. If JJ was to come back, under the understanding that Harbaugh's coming back, and then Harbaugh does his February, run in with the NFL and ultimately takes the job. College football players have till January 15th to decide. NFL players, right? Remember 2 years ago, Jim Harbaugh was interviewing into February. It's a longer process. So I hope those guys have a conversation. I hope they would have that kind of relationship. If it's dependent on that, then JJ needs to ask him straight up. And if he leaves, JJ should let people know, hey, he promised me, he didn't. But I highly doubt. I think if Harbaugh were to come back, it would improve. I think actually, just thinking about it more often. Either way, what Harbaugh does, it would help JJ lean either way a little bit, not for sure. But what I don't want to see happen is Harbaugh tell him one thing and the other, JJ act on that, and Harbaugh does the opposite of what he tells JJ McCarthy. How about this question for you guys? I see you, Joanne. I see you, Giuseppe. I see you, Daniel, Kevin, Angela, in the live chat. Answer me this question. Which is a better Michigan football team? 1997. Beat Colorado at the beginning of the year. Beat Baylor. Beat Iowa. Went in and beat number 1 Penn State. Beat Ohio State. Beat Washington State in the Rose Bowl. Or this 2023 Michigan football team with 6 of the 11 on the first team all Big Ten offense, and then the defense that I think could potentially be the best in the history of the Big Ten. Give me a 2023 or a 1997 in the comments or in the live chat. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Michigan headed to the college football playoff against Alabama, and we'll be covering it all month long. We'll stick on those. We'll give some shout-outs in there. Carla Duvall saying 2023. My guy Bill Graves said 1997. J.W. Fackler, 97 for now. They stay undefeated. But look, if this was 1997, Michigan would be going to the Rose Bowl to playing Washington, right? You didn't have the college football playoff back then. So I think that certain eras give certain people different things, and sometimes it's easier to win a title, sometimes it's harder. It's getting harder going forward with a 12-team playoff, clearly. They win more games, but 97 clearly had an easier path. They didn't have to play Nebraska, who was number 2 in the polls that year. So let me know what you guys think, Michigan or Alabama. Strike 3 says Michigan. Bob Sacramento says M as well. Jack, do you think you can take over for a few before we do a preview? I got to take a quick break. We've been live for almost over 2 hours now. I had too many beer bongs, and now it's all coming in. Give some shout outs to Super Chat people, then go from there. I'll be back in 2 to 3 minutes, okay? All right, go ahead.
All right, here's our Super Chat leaderboard for the day. John Blaze has taken the lead. We got our guy Steve, some guy, Big D Retro, Ashley Lawson, Cruiser for Show, Roscoe Truman, Ted D, House of Lion, which I misspelled, I'll fix in a second, and Tattoo Hick. Now remember, and if you're just joining us, the Super Chat MVP of the day is going home with a signed Blake Corum jersey. Now, I won't lie. I was thinking maybe I'll just take that for myself. But no. Love the audience. Love all of you. So whoever is the Super Chat MVP, so that is whoever has Super Chatted the most, which right now is John Blaze at $400, is taking home the signed Blake Corum jersey. How are we feeling, though? Here's our Super Chat menu. I'll throw it up right now. Super Chat menu. $10 helmet sticker. $25 shot at tequila. $50 send me to Houston. $100 is a championship beer bong. James already done a bunch of those today. And again, the MVP, signed Blake Corum jersey, which is one of the coolest things we've given away by far. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. But remember, $50, send me to Houston. Any $50 super chat that comes in between last week and Christmas, if we get $2,000, I get to go to Houston for the national championship, which I would really like to do. Oh, John. You're something else. You're something, John. I'm so excited. I hope I get to go to Houston, because if I do, I want to meet you, John. You're like the GOAT. You're the GOAT. All right, I'm going to update the leaderboard. Basically, all that happened was I just upped John's number. That was all. Yeah, so help me get to Houston so that I can meet John Blaze. John, I mean, you already know how both James and I feel. You're the GOAT. Thank you so much. Michigan, if you're just joining us, excuse me, I'm flustered now with John Blaze. Michigan, if you're just joining us, going to play Alabama in the college football playoff in the Rose Bowl. So, interesting game. We'll see what happens. But John, I mean, absolute legend here. Thank you so much. You're the absolute GOAT. Hey, Schwab, there is no leaderboard. There is just John Blaze, the GOAT. I mean, we got a lot of really great people. You're never going to guess. John Blaze, $100 super chat.
Oh my God! Can I get a beer?
He just sent the super chat. Just send it now for the Corum jersey. He said, just send it now. James is coming back in a second. We're going to do our preview coming up. Michigan, Alabama instant preview we're going to do. But James is coming back. He got a beer.
Let's do the bong after the preview so I don't fall over.
We'll do the bong after the preview so that James doesn't fall over.
Yep, you got it right.
So, John, I've already said it. Steve says, what is he up to? 3,700 in supers? Well, so I keep track. So, before today, he was at 32. He's at 37. Yeah, I mean, Steve nailed it. He's at 37 since the 2023 season. John. Guys, help me get to Houston so I can meet John. I want to meet John. Let's go. All right.
I think you're going, Jack. I know we're not there technically, but when John Blaze comes through with Hundies, I think some of that credit's got to go to you.
I mean,
I gotta give it to you.
John said in the chat, see you in Houston.
All right. Well,
So
maybe we'll just allocate some of that towards him. So how about this, Jack? This last one from John, add that to the fund. Add both of them. We'll add that because that's $500 for John today. John, you're the man. I can't tell you how much we appreciate it. I really pray. I'm going to go to L.A., so if you're in Pasadena, I think I'm going to head out there for 4, 5, 6, 7 days, maybe a whole week, Christmas to New Year's, go to the game. But we'll absolutely be in the – I did wash my hands, Kevin. I did wash my hands very well, Kevin. I'll be out there in Pasadena. And then Houston, plan will probably be to head out on Friday night or Saturday morning, and then the game is Monday night, so be there 3 days prior, 2-3 days prior, and then come back to Dallas on Tuesday. John will get the Blake Corum jersey probably. Jack, you got the super menu updated, the super whatever leaderboard. Woo! John Blaze, 500. Jeez, John, you are the man. MVP. Toss up the menu one more time, Jack, before we can, and make sure you update the Jack. Preview the 100 from John to the Jack Fund. Make sure people know about that. We do owe 2 wheel spins before our preview. Let's do 2 wheel spins really quick, so people can get their money worth, because we definitely had those for the likes, right? We got 321 likes. So let's do 2 wheel spins if we can, Jack. Relocate funds. Yep, there you go, John. Relocate funds for young Harbaugh. Jack, I appreciate that. We'll put that last one towards there. You will, you'll be helping him. You'll be helping him get there.
I also said, too, oh, wow, that was hot. I also said, too, that if we get there to the goal, I'm going to do full Harbaugh cosplay at the national championship.
Yep. We should take a picture of you. We got khakis, we got the whistle and the markers.
What I was going to do is I was just going to find a photo from, I was looking at last night. You get the blue pants, the brown belt, you got the Michigan polo, the hat, the headset. We can figure it out.
Nice.
We'll have some fun.
Nice. So let's do one more wheel spin. Jack, before we go to the thing, to the preview, should we do one duck race? They have duck race in us? Can we just how about this? Can we just do the super chats from today?
We can do the top 10 from today, yeah.
Boom, let's do it. If you can get to it. So roll this, and then if we want to put the top 10 in one today, we'll figure out what we're going to get for them. How about a Big Ten championship shirt? Tell a dad joke. Okay. I had them up. I had my dad jokes up. It was, probably about 45. Yeah. So here's my dad joke. Ready for it? Jack, you're a movie guy, right? Okay, you're a movie guy too? You guys a movie guy? Forrest Gump just got his first email account. Forrest Gump. What is Forrest Gump's email password, Jack? What is Forrest Gump's email password? If you guys know Forrest Gump's email password in true dad joke fashion, let me know. What is Forrest Gump's email password? You guys let me know in the comments if you think you know you have it. What is Forrest Gump's email password? Jack, any guess? Any guesses?
Is it 1 Forrest 1?
Jack, you may be right. I'm asking A-Shab, we'll be back, Coach Jimmy, next summer. Absolutely. New NCAA game. Coach Jimmy is coming back. And the answer, Jack had it. It is 1, Forest 1. Instead of, run, Forest, run. 1, Forest 1. That is correct. Jack is the man. That's appreciated. I'm glad that you got that because that is a good one. Okay, go ahead. 1, Forest 1. That is Forrest Gump's email password. That's a dad joke. All right. What do we got here? 5 squats. All right, ready? All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Beat Alabama. 5. I'm going to do 6. 6. Beat Alabama. Beat the Tide. 7, 8. I think it was 8, right? 9. We're doing 10. I'm doing 10, Jack. Do 10. John Blaze looks like he's going to get himself a Michigan football jersey. Blake Corum jersey signed by Blake Corum. But Steve is coming with the $50. He says, John Blaze, a legendary MFer. Send him the jersey. John, contributing to the Jack Fund, Jack. We got to update the fund, right? So 50 more. So I think we're at Jack. I think John's 100 plus his 50, right? That's at 540. We had $150 that. Steve and John, we're going to give you guys both a. No, but John's came. We were at. Okay, it was 100. And Steve's 50? Okay. Boy, we start with 250. Okay. So what's the more to say? Okay, I'm sorry. So what's the number we're at then? 510? Right? Okay. Sorry about that. 610. Oh, you're right. Okay. Steve, I'm going to give you a helmet sticker. 12-3, John Blaze. Let's do a duck race. Our top super chatters, top 10 super chatters from today. We're going to send a Michigan football Big Ten championship shirt. All right, Big Ten championship shirt to one of the super chatters. John Blaze, I got you again. You've got helmets upon helmets. Just look out for a care package from me coming soon. John Blaze right there. Next to House of Lion. Next to Tattoo Hick, Outdoor Montana, Big D Retro, Cruiser for Show, Roscoe Truman, Steve, some guy, John again, of course, Ted D, Ashley Lawson. That's a big crew today. So let me put this up there. Steve, I'm going to put you also up there. There was some guy at the very top of the helmet next to the Michigan logo, touched it. Steve says, send John the jersey. He is a legendary MFR, Michigan Football Report. He's an MFR, and we appreciate Steve. We appreciate John. We appreciate Strike 3. I see you, Strike 3. I see you in there, baby. Let me know what you guys are watching from where Jack's going to get the duck race going. We're going to do a duck race. The super chatters from today, winner gets a Big Ten championship shirt from us here at the Michigan Football Report. So if you want, show the list first, Jack. Give people one last chance to get in the race. Where's the top 10 at? Yeah, so everyone's at $15, you get in, right? $15, you're in. We'll give it 60 seconds. $15, you're in, and you'll be in the duck race and the go-kart race. And if you win it, I'll send you a Michigan Football Big Ten Championship shirt. I'm starting my stopwatch here, Jack, so I've got it. John Blaze, Steve. Was Steve updated with the last 50? Right? Yeah, okay. Some guy, Big D Retro, Ashley Lawson, Cruiser for Show, Roscoe Truman, Ted D, House of Lion, and Tattoo Hick. You guys are helping send Jack to Houston when Michigan beats Alabama. I've taken myself 4 beer bongs. I think I still owe 1, don't I? There 1. Did I get a beer for that? I don't think I did. Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah. Got 1 coming for John Blaze after we do our Michigan-Texas preview. And we've got 30 seconds left. If anyone wants to send in a $15 super chat, you will be in this go-kart race, right? Go-kart race for a Big Ten championship shirt. So John Blaze will be in there. Ashley Lawson, Roscoe Truman, of course, will be in there. House of Lion, Ted D, Big D Retro. We've got 10 seconds left, so we'll come up in a minute. If not, we're going to run with this, and then it's our Michigan-Alabama preview, instant preview here live. That's been a minute, Jack, so let's roll that footage. So you guys know this one. It's the duck race, but we're doing the I guess go-kart version of it, right? So Jack, who do we have? We got Cruiser for Show, House of Lion, Roscoe Schumann, Big D Retro, some guy. Who else at the bottom? John Blaze, who's the third one, second one last. ARD.
Okay, here's who we got. John Blaze, our guy Steve, some guy, Big D Retro, Ashley Lawson, Cruiser for Show, Roscoe Truman, Ted D, House of Lion, and Tattoo Hick.
There we go. Whoever wins this, we're going to send you a Michigan Football Big Ten Championship t-shirt. So if I don't have your information, if I'm not DMing with you on Twitter or Instagram, make sure you hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, or comment with a link to your social media on our next video so we can kind of track you guys down. So let's get it rolling. Rat Jack, you ready? There you go. You can get your own chatsports.com/3Pete Michigan football sweatshirts, hats, t-shirts, and more Big Ten Championship gear. I'm excited. Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. You ready, Jack? On your mark. Get set. Go! It is off to the races. The Michigan Football Report Big Ten Championship crew. Tattoo Hick out to an early lead at the top of your screen. John Blaze saying, I'm going to wait a little bit, then make my move. I see Ashley Lawson, Big D Retro, some guy. Steve is following in the back. Cruiser for Show. House of Lion, Roscoe Truman, Ted D. It is a close race as we are 20 seconds in here on the Big Ten Championship t-shirt giveaway on the Michigan Football Report. Michigan, Alabama, Rose Bowl, 5 p.m. Eastern, January 1st, as Tattoo Hick makes a run at the top of the screen. John Blaze says, not so fast at the bottom of the screen. But then there's Cruiser for Show in the green car, right in the middle. John Blaze taking a step back. Maybe he's trying to let somebody else win for it. 15 seconds left. Cruiser for Show. Steve, some guy, Big D Retro. No one's taking a lead at this point. It's coming down the wire. 5 seconds left. Who's going to win it? Ted D at the goal. Some guy. It's a photo finish. Photo finish. Who won it? Some guy. Some guy gets his Big Ten Championship shirt here on Championship Sunday. Some guy. John Blaze says, my car had transmission issues. Woo! Oh, man, I love duck races. I love these go-kart races. Some guy, Jack, slack me that so we don't forget. Some guy, we owe him a Michigan Football Big Ten Championship 3-piece shirt. Appreciate you, some guy. John Blaze, Roscoe Truman, House of Lion, Ted D. So who came in second? So Ted D came in second, Roscoe Truman in third. Man, Big D Retro all the way in last place. I don't know about that. Let's get to our Jack. Let's do our Michigan-Texas preview, instant preview. Michigan-Alabama. I said Texas, Michigan-Alabama preview here on the show. When we, Steve says mine wouldn't shift. Don't disagree with that. When we get done, John, we'll do the beer bong we owe you, and then we will sign off. We'll put out this preview later in the afternoon today. We'll have Michigan football overreaction Monday, tomorrow, mailbag on Tuesday, content galore, transfer portal, etc. this entire week, going on the entire month of December. Let's get to our spot here, Jack. Where are we at? Right here. There we go. All right, let's roll. Ready, Jack? All right, it's going to be cold open. So let's let this bad boy roll. It is the Michigan-Alabama College Football Playoff instant preview. We heard about the news. Michigan facing Alabama in the Rose Bowl live on Sunday. Bringing it to you right now. Put this up on the channel on Sunday afternoon. And we are presented by Manscaped. Always get 20% off and free shipping on the best male grooming products in the game. My entire bathroom is Manscaped in it. Manscaped.com. Use promo code GOBLUE. 20% off and free shipping. Before we take a look at this matchup, I want to know what your instant score predictions are. Right off the cuff. You guys know Alabama. You know what they've done. You probably watched the SEC title game last night. Michigan, Alabama, score prediction. Predict that score in the live chat, in the comments. Let me know what you guys are thinking. What did I do mine, Jack? I said 24-17. My early one was 24-17. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Predict the score. Rose Bowl, College Football Playoff, semifinal. Michigan won their Big Ten Championship game. Fairly rudimentary fashion. Right? Fairly rudimentary fashion over Iowa. 26-0. 4 field goals from James Turner. JJ McCarthy, another game without a touchdown pass. But Iowa couldn't do anything against Michigan football defense. The defensive line was on fire all day. And that is the story. 26-0. The Wolverines win their third straight Big Ten championships. But do want to kind of turn the page and go over to the other side. The Alabama-Georgia SEC championship game. 27-24. Back and forth game all day. Alabama kind of felt like they controlled it early. Uncertainty in the third quarter. Alabama controlled it again late. And then there's 5+ minutes left in the game. Alabama, Georgia, Georgia got the ball back, marched down 3 minutes, scored the touchdown, a couple minutes left in the game, 2:50 or so. Alabama, what did they have to do? Just like Michigan last week against Ohio State, they had to get first downs to win the game. They didn't have to go 7 minutes, they had to go 3 minutes. And nevertheless, Jalen Milroe did what he had to do. The running game for Alabama was a force. That offensive line with J.C. Latham, all these different guys, they looked like they were a force against the Georgia defense that, frankly, has manhandled all of college football for the last 3 seasons. I think this Alabama team is for real. They don't have a passing game that Michigan should be too afraid of, but they can bomb the ball deep with some of the best of them in college football. Now, the odds makers say that Michigan is a 2.5-point favorite. Not a ton of points, right? The other game, Washington, Texas, is a 63.5-point over-under. Michigan, Alabama, only a 45.5. Now, why is that, right? Alabama, good defense. Michigan, really good defense. Alabama, not a great quarterback. Michigan, good quarterback, hasn't played well lately. Nevertheless, Michigan, 2.5-point favorite. They were a 7-point favorite last year against TCU, so take it for what it's worth. 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock local time, Rose Bowl, January 1st. The first of 2 games, the Sugar Bowl, will be the primetime game on New Year's Day. If you guys have yet to do so, subscribe to the Michigan Football Report. We'll have daily videos all December long here on the channel. Appreciate you, the 29,550 people who have subscribed to the channel. If you've yet to do so, hit that button. Of course, send the link to a friend, youtube.com/Michigan TV. Take a deeper look at the Crimson Tide here. They won their first game of the year, 56-7 over Middle Tennessee, but they lost by 10 at home to Texas, okay? That is a game that I felt could keep them out of the CFP. Ultimately, Florida State and the injury to Jordan Travis is what got them into the CFP, other than beating Georgia, et cetera, et cetera. And then just win. It's right. South Florida, Ole Miss. Not a dominant fashion, but 24-10 over what would be a top 10 Ole Miss team. Texas A&M, close game. Arkansas, close game. You see a little of a theme here, right? Not a blowout, but not super close of a game right there. 34-20 over Tennessee. They come down the stretch. Close game against LSU. Pulled away late, 42-28. Beat up on Kentucky. Beat up on Chattanooga. Needed an absolute miracle last Saturday night against Auburn. 4th and goal from the 31 with 30 seconds left in the game. And they just rushed 2 guys, had a 3rd guy spying the quarterback. Jalen Milroe had all day to scan the entire field, 53 yards wide, and finally threw the touchdown in the back left corner of the end zone. They get the win 27-24 over Auburn, an Auburn team that lost to New Mexico State the week prior. This Alabama team is certainly beatable, but they did beat. They slayed the final boss, right? They beat Georgia in the SEC title game on Saturday afternoon, 27-24. Gentlemen across the nation, I have an urgent message for you, and today's show is brought to you by Manscaped, who's bringing you this urgent message. Manscaped, right? The brand that took your balls to space is now launching them into the ultrasphere, introducing the new Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra, featuring a new cutting-edge design and next generation dual skin-safe blade heads for different shaves. It's pretty much a spaceship to take your boys downstairs to the next level. I've been thankful that Manscaped gave me first look on this product. I've had it for a little while. I was one of the first people to get the Manscaped Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra, and it is absolutely sensational. Those 2 next-gen interchangeable skin-safe blades are amazing. It's got a standard trimmer blade to take a little off the top and a new foil blade that goes down for a smooth finish wherever your heart desires. Join the 9 million men worldwide like me who trust Manscaped as the brand that they have all over their bathroom. I've got it in my shower with shampoo, conditioner, the razor that takes it down to the stubble, no matter where you want to take a stubble with. The Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra also does that. 20% off and free shipping. I've got deodorant. I've got lip balm. I've got the Lawnmower 5.0. I've got everything in my bathroom through Manscaped, and you will love it too. 20% off your first purchase and free shipping using promo code GOBLUE. Link is in the comments. Link is in the description. Use Manscaped. Use promo code GOBLUE. Support our sponsors. We'll put it in the live chat as well. Trust Manscaped. I do, and I believe that you will as well. Makes a great, great, great holiday gift, stocking stuffer. The guy in your life who you don't know what to buy, go to Manscaped. Use promo code GOBLUE for 20% off and free shipping. Take a look at this Michigan offense. Now, Jack, these are not updated through yesterday, right? Okay, regular season, NCAA website has not updated their final rankings as of Sunday afternoon. So Michigan on offense, 57th in the country in total offense. Okay, 64th in passing, 52nd in rushing, but points is where they did well. All right, Blake Corum in the end zone, 24 touchdowns, number 13 in the country in scoring offense. How about on the other side of the ball? Let's take a look at the Alabama offense. Fairly similar to Michigan, right? Pretty rudimentary. 48th, a few more yards per game in total offense. 57th in passing. 44th in rushing. And then score more points than probably you'd have expected because they're Alabama. They are who they are. They've got a better defense. They probably make more plays. JJ McCarthy, though, he's the best quarterback in Michigan football history. And if you're going to make that claim like I have been making for weeks now, you've got to go and beat a player like Jalen Milroe, the quarterback at Alabama. This isn't Tua. This isn't, even Greg McElroy. This certainly isn't Mac Jones or Jalen Hurts, right? A few of those guys starring in the NFL right now. I think this is kind of a shot-put-like quarterback who throws the ball up downfield. He doesn't have a ton of accuracy. He's dangerous with his feet, and he's a big-bodied player. Michigan needs to have a plan for him. It's got to be a better plan they've had for, as good of a plan as they had against C.J. Stroud or others, but it's a different plan, right? He can throw the ball deep downfield in one-on-one coverage, and I think that that's something that Alabama will try. But Michigan needs to make sure they don't let him slice them up with 12 yards here, 15 yards there, 14 yards there, 7 yards here, like he has done big time in the last month or so, especially the last 5 or 6 weeks as Jalen Milroe has kind of come up as a player. Michigan's going to lean on Blake Corum. 24 touchdowns, broke the 1,000-yard mark. Second year in a row, he's got 1,000 yards. He should have had it in 2021. He had like 950 or something like that. But nevertheless, Blake Corum, I think Michigan's got the advantage of quarterback. I think they've got the advantage at running back because Jace McClellan has only got 200-yard games this year. He did it against maybe the two of their biggest games prior to Georgia. He went over 100 against Tennessee. He went over 100 against Ole Miss, but only 803 yards on the year. I don't see him as like a wild home run threat, right? Long of 29, he's a good back, but Blake Corum, Diamond Edwards, hell, even Khalil Mullings, I think, are better backs, or at least Mullings maybe just a better switch-up back than Jace McClellan. On the wide receiver front, you've got 2 wide receivers and a tight end. Jermaine Burton's the one to worry about. He can take the top off of a defense. He's been there for a while. 35 catches, 777 yards, and 8 touchdowns. Again, these stats. These ones are prior to the game yesterday. Or these include the SEC. These include the SEC championship game. Their tight end, Amari Niblack, 4 touchdowns. I think that's where the thing is. Look for them to target him in the red zone because much like JJ McCarthy, Jalen Milroe has not been a surgeon inside the red zone. A lot of his touchdowns have come from deeper or even sometimes dump-off screens or little passes that go for 7, 8, 10 yards in the air past line of scrimmage that the players then take for 30, 40, or more yards to the end zone. 45.5 points is the over-under. Michigan's favored by 2.5 points. The Rose Bowl, the final Rose Bowl in what is the normal college football that we've known for 154 seasons. We coming to an end with Michigan, Alabama, first game of 2 on January 1st. Are you guys headed to Pasadena for the Rose Bowl? Are you going to head to the CFP semifinal for this Michigan football team? Let me know. Give me a yes, type 1, or a no, type 0. I'm going. I will be there. So I'm going to go in there in the live chat and type 1. If you're watching on Sunday afternoon, go down in the comments. Give me a 1 or 0. For type 1, hey, I'm in the DMs. We have to do Santa Monica Boulevard the night before. Something on New Year's Eve. We'll see. 1 or 0. Are you going to the Rose Bowl? Take a look at the defensive side of the ball for Michigan. Again, when the NCAA updates their stats on Sunday night or Monday for season, we will update ours. But going into this, the regular season, Michigan was the number 2 team in total defense, number 1 team in scoring defense, 6th against the rush in the country, and 4th against the pass. Some of the best stats I've ever seen from one college football defense. Alabama, though, they're good but not great, right? They get up to 18 points a game. That's 14th best in the country, okay? 312 yards, that's not insignificant. That's a pretty decent amount of yards. Teams have moved the ball against Alabama, passing, but maybe rushing. Michigan's offensive line without Zach Zinter didn't look great yesterday. Trente Jones got beat a couple times, got himself a holding call, got himself a false start call. That needs to improve. The offensive line in this game, for me, is going to make as big of an impact as it would against Michigan and Ohio State, Michigan against Penn State. You beat Alabama by out-rushing them. You beat Alabama by forcing Jalen Milroe to throw the ball downfield when you've got 6, 7 guys dropping the coverage, just like you did against C.J. Stroud, just like you did against Kyle McCord to get those 3 straight wins against Ohio State. Guys, Michigan's got 28 days, right? 29 days, 28 days. What's the Saturday the 1st. That is a Monday. So 29 days from now, right? It is a Monday, January 1st, to put together a game plan that will make every Michigan fan proud, that will get Michigan in the national championship game, that will have the Big Ten in the final year of this college football playoff beat the SEC. Michigan needs it. The Big Ten needs it. Jim Harbaugh needs it. And I think as a fan, I need it. You guys need it. And it'd be great to see Houston or bust for this team. Michigan's playing Alabama. Washington is playing Texas. Then Florida State got snubbed. I think a lot of people are going to be upset about that one for a while because they didn't get their chance to make it to the final college football playoff and get into the one of the two matchups, Rose or Sugar Bowl. Alabama, 1 loss. Texas, 1 loss. Alabama's 1 loss to Texas. Gets in over a 13-0 undefeated ACC championship. Florida State, of course, is losing their starting quarterback, missing him for the rest of the year in Jordan Travis. With this game being on New Year's Eve, or New Year's Day, I should say, I'll ask you guys this question to end this early preview. We'll dive deeper in over the next 29 days. Trust me on that one. Better holiday for you. Is it Christmas or New Year's Eve, right? Just say New Year's Eve and not necessarily New Year's Day. Christmas or New Year's Eve. Let me know down in the comments, a C or an N. Michigan's going to be playing on New Year's Day, right? We're playing in L.A. You might be out there in the L.A. living the life. I might choose New Year's for that one, but let me know. C or N. It's been the Michigan Football Report Instant Michigan Alabama preview. I've got Michigan win this one 24-17. Let me know down in the comments what you guys feel, and we'll have a ton more content here on the Michigan Football Report by Chat Sports. What do you think, Jack? Christmas or New Year's? Said New Year's Day.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would say, well, to answer the question, I'm a Christmas guy.
Yeah.
So I will say Christmas in general.
Mm-hmm.
But then I would say my number 2 is New Year's Day.
Okay, I dig.
But I would say I am a Christmas guy. Like, December is my favorite month of the year, best time of year, Christmas time, love it.
Got it. By the way, we should give some shout-outs here. I promised them I will give a few shout-outs here. So we had Kyle the Hunter, Paul Morrison, CJ, Marcelino, and Matt all gave a retweet on this tweet here, which is my Michigan football there. Jason, Jamie, Tone, Salita, Walt, King of All Discounts, Steve, Joel Richardson, Jennifer Weedmark, sweet name, Weedmark, JCone Santana, Rob Smith, George Paul Lewis, Karma, Jim, Josh, and Zianob, amongst others. Those are the last 10 or 12 have given that a like or a retweet. I want to give a shout out to our live Super Chat leaderboard. John Blaze will get himself a Michigan football Blake Corum signed jersey. As we've got to sign off now as Preston Yoder with his formerly broken arm 7th birthday party is coming up in 1 hour and 22 minutes. And so I've got to get to that. I'll do the beer bong for John Blaze. Subscribe all December long. We'll have content up and down. Carla, if you see this, don't tell the family members this. I'm doing this, then going to Preston's birthday party. But nevertheless, John Blaze, our Super Chat MVP, will get our Blake Corum jersey. And because he sent a $100, or was it $200? It was $100, an extra $100. We do owe him. We're a man of our words. A Yoder always pays his debts. And as such, our debts are we do things to drink, Jack, and we have fun, right? It's not just my edict. It's the edict of, I think, Chat Sports in a lot of ways. I didn't create it. Mitch was on here with that, what do you call that thing? The boot. All right, Mitch came out with the boot. And I will finish the show off with another beer bong.
Everybody spam chug. Let's go.
Spam chug.
For Michigan, number 1, ranked number 1. Let's go.
335 likes, and now we're down to about 150 or so watching. So I'm going to finish this up, and then we will wrap up the show. Type Chug, Michigan Football Report by Chat Sports. Do the beer bong, and then we'll be back with our preview. Put it on the channel later on this afternoon. Tomorrow, we've got all kinds of content. Monday, Tuesday, this entire month. Go Blue.
Everyone spam those chugs. Let's go.
You, John Blaze.
John Blaze, Carla, A. Schwab, Richard Lococo, Ashley Lawson. Let's go. Chug, 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 chug. Let's go. Light work.
Woo. A lot of foam there at the end, but the beer all went down. That is it. Michigan Football Report. Michigan number 1 in the polls. Every moment of college football history, every win, every game, every play is coming down to this. Michigan is ranked number 1 in the polls. They will face Alabama. Rose Bowl, 5 o'clock Eastern, first of 2 games Washington, Texas in the nightcap in the Sugar Bowl. For Young Harbaugh, Jack Latteray, give shout out to John Blaze, our guy Steve, Some Guy, Ashley Lawson, many, many others who contributed to a great Michigan Football Report show. So I guess see you guys next time. Go Blue.